brother of the current grad transfer wide receiver for Stony Brook, Hunter Hayak, who comes in as a transfer from Rutgers University. So it will be one nice sibling rivalry between Hunter and Jerron to see who's going to have the most. And as you said, a trio of wide receivers for Stony Brook last season is gone, but in comes more that has good experience. You start off with a graduate transfer from Stony Brook's rival, New Hampshire. It's Malik Love, who was one of the best wide receivers as well in the CAA over the last few seasons when he was with the Wildcats. Then you also have Khalil Newton, a transfer from the FBS school Ball State. And then last but not least, another projected wide receiver. You got Delonte Helms, who had some good playing time for Stony Brook last season, had some good catches, and nearly had one that would have had a chance at upsetting number 2 James Madison here last season.
So there are a lot of new faces on both teams. I will point out, though, that I think we're going to see a lot of running the ball when it comes to Villanova, and you can't count out Daniel Smith and his ability with his legs either. I mean, he was third on the team in rushing last season, but of course they lost Justin Covington, who you could argue is one of the better running backs in the CAA. He was leading the FCS in rushing before he tore his ACL 6 games into the 2019 season. And then, of course, because we now have had a year and a half since they last took the football field, there's a lot of time to recover from an ACL injury, so expect Justin Covington to be back and healthy. But then behind him, he's got guys like Jalen Jackson and Barley, guys who can really run the ball, and they are all different types of running backs. And then you throw in Daniel Smith, who's a dual-threat quarterback as well. They have a lot of different options. They can come at you a lot of different ways with all of their different weapons. The Stony Brook defense has their work cut out for them today.
So in 2019, Villanova ended their season with a 9-4 overall record. The best in a little while after the few seasons before preceding that season was played with injuries, and it seems like they couldn't work that around with Justin Covington, as you said. But they did qualify for the FCS playoffs, played in the first round at Southeast Louisiana, but they could not get past them as they fell 45-44 after Villanova's kicker, Cole Bunce, failed a PAT that would have tied the game. Of course, they were up by 6 then, but Southeastern Louisiana responded with a touchdown which they got their extra point, and that allowed Southeastern Louisiana to move past round 1 and end Villanova's season. For Stony Brook, they had one of their worst seasons since coming into the CAA. They started off strong, winning first 4 of their first 5 games of the season, but then they lost 6 of their last 7. And it was a bit downswing because they had critical injuries as well. Isaiah White, who was having injuries late in the season, Gene Constant who also had an injury, and the biggest one of all appeared to be Sam Kamara, one of the best defensive players on the team. Missed the rest of the season after his last game was the Stony Brook win at Rhode Island. So having him back into this defensive lineup is going to be a big boost for Stony Brook if they want to once again prove that they're one of the toughest defenses to play in the nation.
Without question, Zach. If I were to make a guess, though, I would say that this is probably going to be a shootout. With the way these two teams match up against each other, we know how stacked this Villanova offense is, and we also know how bad their defense can be. You go back to that playoff game against Southeastern Louisiana where they lost 45-44 in the last second. That was the first time that defense allowed 600 yards of offense since 2004. I mean, this defense, and they haven't made a ton of changes on their defensive side. This is a defense that has a lot of holes that you could exploit if you're the Stony Brook offense. Now, we mentioned how they lost 3 top receivers. They have a whole different look when it comes to receivers, and Fields has his work cut out for him when it comes to trying to build chemistry as quickly as possible with the limited preseason that they had. So there's a tough opportunity for Stony Brook, but there's an opportunity there to exploit the holes in this Villanova defense and keep this game competitive on the offensive side.
Well, as you said, this could be looking like some big shootout. Both teams do have the offensive weapons that they need. We talked before about Stony Brook and their running game that they have been heavily relying upon over the last few seasons. They've had star players like Stacy Bedell. They also had Jordan Gowans as well. there's also a lot of tough players that have been able to manage their way through. And last season, we talked about how Isaiah White was the starting running back to start the season. But when he fell down with an injury, Tyson Lawton, the redshirt freshman from Staten Island, started to step up. And he really did perform well by being able to produce on the ground game. And he's not the only player that can run. You also got Tyquell Fields, and he's been able to show from time to time how mobile of a quarterback that he is. If you remember the win for Stony Brook at Rhode Island last season, you can probably thank Tyquell Fields because of his ability on 4th and 5 from midfield with just 20 seconds left with Seawolves down by 3, pushing forward for a first down, moving and being able to break away from the defenders and punch his way into the end zone for a game-winning touchdown. So Tyquell Fields, his speed is there, and if anything, if his accuracy is able to improve from last season, then his ability to play as quarterback could be very noticeable as one of the best in the CAA.
Yeah, and I want to add something about Lawton, who actually did very, very well when he played against Villanova. There's something about facing this team. 121 yards and a touchdown against Villanova last season. So he knows how to run against this defensive line, a defensive line that is retaining most of their talent. Yeah, they lost Drew Wiley and they lost Hunter, but most of that defensive line has remained intact. And last season, Lawton was able to exploit that. So if he can find holes in that trenches, he's shown that he can break free.
So the Villanova Wildcats are led by their third-year head coach, Mark Ferrante. In his time with Villanova, he has not been the one that's been able to give the Wildcats that win against Stony Brook yet, but could have a chance to do so, as Villanova, as I said, ranked 5th in the nation, could be one of the favorites to make it into the FCS playoffs, while for Stony Brook, after they had a down year last season, they're looking to try and get their way back up after they made back-to-back playoff appearances, the way they did back in 2011 and 2012, their last 2 seasons in the Big South. And for Villanova, they also have one member of the coaching staff who has New York roots. Their offensive coordinator, if we can remember, he was a backup quarterback for the New York Dragons that used to play at the Nassau Coliseum. So you see how he has those strong roots, being able to grow up around here, and that could draw some pretty good, if I may say, connections.
Chris Bowden is one of, if not the best, quarterback in Villanova history. And for him to coach a guy like Daniel Smith, and for him to really tag team coaching Daniel Smith with Mark Ferrante, who was the 1982 Division III Player of the Year when he was at quarterback for Villanova. Those are 2 experts when it comes to the quarterback position, which makes Daniel Smith all the more dangerous because, yeah, he's got the innate talent, but he's also getting fed knowledge that a lot of quarterbacks in his position at the college level just don't get fed. That experience at the quarterback position in the coaching staff is so critical to Daniel Smith's success, and he's shown that, boy, he can be one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best, in the conference.
Well, Daniel Smith had his first season in collegiate play completely last year, and already he broke out pretty tough. Last time Stony Brook hosted Villanova back in 2018, Stony Brook was down as much as 21 in the first half, but after they got a touchdown with an PAT miss to make it a 15-point deficit at halftime, it was all part of 29 straight points that Stony Brook was able to surprise on Villanova. Then the Wildcats got a touchdown late in the 4th quarter, but could not convert on a game-tying 2-point conversion and failed the onside kick after Zachary Lucas, the former tight end for the Seawolves, was able to recover it and give Stony Brook that gigantic win against Villanova. So as you said, there's always going to be these close calls that we're going to be witnessing for quite a while. So who knows if we'll be facing the same situation. Like I said, we might be in for deja vu.
And I want to point out one more thing, Zach. When it comes to this Villanova defense, just emphasizing how important it is for Stony Brook to score points and how easy it is to score points against this Villanova defense and then pull out victories. Last season, they started out 6-0. During that stretch, Zach, they allowed 21 points per game. In the final 7 games, when Villanova went 3-4, opponents scored 33 points per game. That's a big difference.
It's going to be a big difference, all right. We can't wait to see what's going on. Here in a frigid, cold temperature of around mid-30s. It's going to be quite the interesting matchup to start the season. Stony Brook really being part of this, one of the toughest conferences in the FCS ever since 2013, and they're really going to be having some fun. All right, so we're going to step aside as we are just seconds away from the national anthem, and we'll let it get here.
In the north end zone. Stony Brook University is a tobacco-free campus, meaning tobacco products, including electronic cigarettes, may not be used inside the stadium or anywhere on campus. Stony Brook University has assigned a high priority to assuring all events are conducted in a safe and enjoyable atmosphere. We remind you that unruly behavior, including taunting and vulgar comments, are not permitted and will result in ejection from the premises. At this moment, please rise if you are able for the playing of our national anthem.
So that was our national anthem. Thank you once again for choosing 90.1 FM WUSB Stony Brook for Stony Brook football action for the first time here in spring of 2021. Stony Brook football head coach Chuck Priori is calling this a 17-game schedule because here in 2021 there will be a total of 17 games played, 6 here in the spring and 11 in the fall. Stony Brook football's fall schedule for later this year has already been released, but we may as well focus on what's going on with the here and now. And we talked about Villanova's defense. Let's get into Stony Brook's defense as well. They've also managed to wrangle up some players from around the nation as well, including Elias Reynolds, a linebacker from Pittsburgh who had some good playing time with the Panthers before he decided to enter the transfer portal. And one of his best games was back in 2018 in the ACC Championship when the Tigers had their championship season under the freshman Trevor Lawrence, who is projected to be the top overall pick in this year's NFL draft. You also got Augie Confessa, who led the team in tackles last season at 88. Him being back at linebacker is huge for this Stony Brook team. As I said, Sam Kamara, who is coming back from that injury he had mid-last season. You also get TJ Morrison, who's taking a little switch in his role defensively. Was a cornerback with Gavin Heslop last season, and now he's moving over to the safety position.
Yeah, that's critical, Zach, because those are two completely different positions. Now it's more of an anchor position and a captain position in that defensive backfield for Stony Brook. TJ Morrison is great on coverage, but now he has to sort of observe and float around the field a little bit more. But, you know, Chuck Priori says that it's about his qualities. The guy he is as a football player allows him to so easily transition into that role. And I expect that he's going to have a pretty good season this year. In the 6 games, maybe stretching that out to that 17-game schedule. But, you know, I think TJ Morrison is going to do an excellent job in his new role on the defense, Zach.
It's all about playing the game, and this is the history that is put up between the Seawolves and the Wildcats. The 5th all-time meaning. Stony Brook owns the all-time series record, 3-1. Stony Brook, as I said, won the first all-time meeting against the Wildcats back in 2012 when Stony Brook moved on in the FCS playoffs beyond round 1, 20-10. And we have back-to-back wins for the Wildcats, for the Seawolves actually, from 2018 and 2019. But Villanova, pretty much at this point, they've had enough of being Stony Brook's ragdoll after their only win against the Seawolves all time came back in 2013 when Villanova proved they're better against Stony Brook at that time, 35-6. After this game, Villanova will be heading home for the first time this season in back-to-back home games against Rhode Island and then New Hampshire. Yesterday was the first conference game in the CAA between the UAlbany Great Danes and the New Hampshire Wildcats. If you missed that, UAlbany took down New Hampshire in Durham 24-20. As we take the field, Villanova won the toss. Actually, Stony Brook, they won the toss and they will elect to defer. Nick Courtney was the kicker for Stony Brook last season, but he graduated. So we are going to have ourselves a new kicker this season, the redshirt freshman, Angelo Guglielmello. Stony Brook and Villanova playing for the first time since November 2019, ready for a 6-game conference schedule. And we are ready too. Zach Wilson, Jonah Karp, live on 90.1 FM, WUSB Stony Brook, giving you Stony Brook football action for the first time in 469 days. As we get set now, it's Guglielmello ready to return the kick.
This is exciting, Zach. Football for the first time in 460. Wow, we're going to have to pause for a little bit.
And the ball fell down. Kind of unfortunate.
Just as I say that.
So let's see how this is going. What a funny way to start off the new season. It's Guglielmello will have to hold on once again.
The ball succumbing to the strong winds here in Stony Brook.
That sure is. Let's get set now, making sure that the wind is good. If it happens the second time, somebody's got to hold it. Guglielmello will kick it away from the 35-yard line, and we are playing for the first time. And to receive the punt, Villanova trying to find a hole. They do. Trying to bust it ahead and tackle from behind is Morrison making the tackle as one of the Wildcats makes it just across the 25-yard line. And they will be ruled down right at the 28-yard line. And that is where Villanova will set up shop offensively for the first time this season.
It was Des Boykin on the return, one of the many wide receivers that this Villanova offense has, although I think Des is going to be more of a return specialist than a wide receiver because of the bevy of wide receivers that they do have.
The bevy, that's really going to be a fun way to pronounce it. 50-mile-an-hour winds today. So, Daniel Smith and his team on offense for the first time this season with Covington in the backfield. As they set things up. It was early movement, and it looks like we're getting our first play of the day is our first penalty. And it's called false start. Not the start that Villanova envisioned to begin this season.
So our first look at Daniel Smith's new offense that he's quarterbacking. Going with the spread offense, 2 wide receivers stacked on the right side.
Smith will get himself set. So we're in a 4-3 formation. Here's the snap. Hand off to Covington. Busts it up the middle. Just makes about a few yards on the play. And it looks like he may have gotten 3.
Covington, the ball carrier.
Stony Brook, Zach, goes with, they're officially listed as a 4-2-5 defense, which is very unique, but it does kind of fall back into that 4-3 formation.
Gain of 2 on the play. Covington along with the receivers, 3 receivers all on the right. Covington now moving to the backfield with Smith. Here's the snap. Smith makes it this time, busting himself up the middle, gets beyond the 30, and falls down right at the 35-yard line up the middle, and makes it about almost a 10-yard gain on the play, and that will set up 3rd and short.
And that's what can happen when you face a guy like Daniel Smith, a dual-threat quarterback. Expect a lot of those RPOs. You can't count out Covington, but, you know, when Covington doesn't get handed the ball, Smith can take off.
So we got ourselves 3rd and 3 at the 35-yard line for Villanova, trying to pick up their first 3rd down conversion of the season. 3 receivers set, 1 to the left, 2 to the right. Covington in the backfield again. Here's the snap. Smith Stepping back, throws over the left side on the screen, pass made by Covington for a first down and more. He is tackled out of bounds at the 45-yard line. And so Villanova will be able to extend their drive, converting on third down for the first time this season.
Of all the running backs that Villanova has, Covington is the best at catching the ball. The others are more guys who can just kind of run over you. Some can break free in open space, but Covington is a great all-encompassing running back.
What makes Covington such a great player for Villanova. Now first down, Covington will get the handoff again, but nowhere to go. He is met big time by the Seawolves defense, and that is Redgi Damanchi, the redshirt junior linebacker. He forces a no gain on the play. 2nd and 10.
That was an interesting formation on offense for Villanova, where they had 2 receivers stacked on each side of the field, one virtually standing behind the other.
1 yard gain on the play for Justin Covington. 2nd and 9 at the 46-yard line up the middle. 2 receivers spread out. 3 now, actually, to the left, 1 to the right. Covington in the backfield again. Smith getting set. Here's the snap. He fakes it, throwing over to the right for a wide open Jerron Hayek for a first down and more. And he gets it just across the 45-yard line and down at the 41. And actually, that was Ray-Jean Pringle, no relation to Randy Pringle for Stony Brook. Another first down for Villanova.
Any relation to the Pringle chips?
Well, you always gotta love those Pringle chips. They're always the tastiest.
Are they a sponsor?
Still first down at the 41-yard line now. Villanova is in Stony Brook territory, trying to get a touchdown on their first drive of the season. Smith sent in the backfield again with Covington. 2 receivers to the left. Here's the snap. And out to Will Barley. He's up the middle, and he busts a tackle, trying to pounce over again. And meeting tackles, he makes it just across the 35-yard line, down at the 33.
Tackle by Contressa.
And the tackle was made by Augie Contressa, the returning leading tackler for the Seawolves on defense. 8-yard gain on the play, puts Villanova right near field goal range.
Yeah, that's what Barley can do. He's great in between the tackles, and that's why he led Villanova in rushing touchdowns last season.
He was able to step up when Justin Covington fell with that injury. So 2nd and 2 coming up. Barley in the backfield again with Smith. Here's the snap. Little blitz coming. Smith going to throw over to his left, and the pass is complete by Hayek across the 30-yard line, inside right to the 27-yard line, and we have a little fight going on, and we got a flag down. And it looks like one of the Seawolves may have gotten a little too rough with Villanova, and that may set up an unsportsmanlike conduct on the Seawolves.
Tackle by Contressa.
May have been Contressa that may be called for that penalty. It's a first down for Villanova after the catch was made by Jerron Hayek, the brother of Hunter Hayek, current Seawolf.
Play. Interruptus. Number 46.
Oh, so they're calling on sportsmanlike on Villanova instead, and that was on couldn't quite tell who the penalty was called on offensively for Villanova. But if it may have been somebody in the Villanova bench, they said number 46, that is Jared Nelson, the defensive lineman, who may have been sitting on the bench. So instead of a first down, it looks like they are going to give it a first down, but they're just going to back them up once again. Instead of going inside the 30, they'll have to start from the Stony Brook 41-yard line.
It's now 2 penalties on this drive going against Villanova. So far, Stony Brook's played a pretty clean game. And now we see 5 defensive backs, for Stony Brook. We see that 4-2-5.
Well, you see 4 receivers. Actually, we got 3 since Barley in the backfield again with Smith. Here's the snap. Smith throwing over to the right. Wide open again is Hayek across the 30-yard line, and he gets it just right to the 27. Actually, again, it's Ray-Jean Pringle. Pringle wearing number 19 for Villanova. Another first down for Villanova inside the 30-yard line. Villanova's been getting a lot of receivers wide open so far, and Stony Brook has been playing more zone.
We haven't seen Daniel Smith throw the ball vertically. It's been all horizontal, finding receivers open in the flats, and now he's going with an empty backfield.
I'd be careful here because I think I got to see somebody coming onto the backfield again, and I will. It's Barley returning. But 4 receivers are spread out. You got 3 defensive backs for Stony Brook defensively. And a throw to the left side for Pringle once again. Pringle going across the 20-yard line. cutting and adjusting. He's making going inside the 20, pushing Stony inside the 10 to the 5, and he is in for a touchdown, but we have a flag called. If this is a legal block in the back, this may be coming back.
Wow, Pringle has some wheels on him.
Finding a good way to adjust after he was right near the Villanova sideline, going across the field.
Reversing field. And everyone was stacked up on the left side. There was just complete vacancy on the right side of the field.
It was some adjustment if you asked me. I don't know if you obviously can't tell what we're seeing, but you should have seen the way that Pringle was able to make that quick adjustment.
Below the waist, number 12.
And it is, as we suspected, a penalty against Villanova offensively once again. So instead of a touchdown, Villanova will have to play a first down once more, and we'll see where they're going to put them. So it looks like Villanova is going to be just outside the 20-yard line. So once again, a big play for Villanova negated by a penalty on their offense. I told you before about how a penalty on the offense, and last time they both played each other at Villanova in October 2019, cost the Wildcats the game after they were up 28-10 at halftime. That 26-7 run for Stony Brook, able to give them that upset comeback. Nothing more grander for Stony Brook that season than that.
It's a theme for this Wildcats team. In that playoff game, they had a chance to win it at the end of the game, but then, hey, it called for a pass interference that ended that drive and ended the game for them last year.
So Rajon Pringle's touchdown negated. The Villanova Wildcats will have to set up shop at the 21-yard line. The penalty was called at the 5-yard line right before Pringle had a chance to go into the end zone for Villanova's first score of the game. So it's actually going to be first down and 4 because of the 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. At the 21-yard line, the receivers are spread out. Smith will fake the throw, going over the middle to Pringle, incomplete, just too low. And that was an easy touchdown from the looks of it. But Smith just wasn't on cue with Rajon Pringle that time.
Yeah, that's all on Smith. He threw it behind his receiver. Pringle got open. I mean, I don't know if there was a miscommunication. He thought Smith was going to, or Pringle rather, was going to curl back. But like you said, Zach, had he found Pringle in the open field, that would have been an easy touchdown.
It's been a lot of grand opportunities for Villanova to grow down the field so far today and try and get a score, but it's being delayed. 2nd and 4. The fake to Covington, throwing over the right once again. Pass deflected big time by Justin Burns, forcing 3rd down. A great defensive play made by Mr. Burns himself, the redshirt junior defensive back, and he is stepping up big in his 3rd year with the team.
The combination of Burns and Morrison, two good safeties that Stony Brook boasts, and they're keys in situations like this when you're knocking on the door of the red zone.
So with that brings us to another 3rd down play upcoming for Villanova. 3rd and 4 again from the 21-yard line. 3 receivers spread out. Smith throwing up to his left for Pringle. He makes the catch. Trying to make an adjustment. He does inside the 10, and he gets it right inside to the 5-yard line against Demanchi. And like I said, that's been key for Villanova so far in this drive, as it's been going on for just about 5 minutes. Adjusting, being able to create separation enough with quick plays that has allowed players to be wide open to make catches and run down the field.
And you can see why Smith loves throwing to Pringle, Zach. When Pringle gets the ball in his hands, makes one man miss, and he's gone.
So with that 1st and 6, we're at the 9:42 mark, still scoreless as Villanova's knocking on the door of their first score of 2021. Smith with Covington in the backfield, 3 receivers set to the right. Here's the snap. Covington will get the handoff. He'll push it up inside, getting tackled by Contressa, and a slew of Seawolves with him. Makes about a gain of 5 yards. They're going to say 4 yards. He'll be ruled down to the 2-yard line. And we have a flag thrown as well. One of the Wildcats fell down, and maybe one of the Seawolves got aggressive this time. This one may be going against Stony Brook.
Chippy, chippy.
Oh, there's pretty much bad blood, and I think Villanova is trying to get a little more aggressive and trying to capture their 2nd ever win against the Seawolves. Trying to force them to make mistakes.
Number 5, defense.
So the penalty called on Sam Camara, and that's going to put Villanova right at the 1-yard line for a 1st and goal.
Sam Camara coming back from a shoulder injury.
1st and goal for Villanova.
But again, with all this time to recover, with these two teams not having played since 2019.
Wildcat formation set up. Hand off inside, goes into the end zone. It's Covington, and he busted through through the plane, and Villanova is on the board for the first time this season. It's actually Jalen Jackson who made that play. Jalen Jackson, we just talked about him before, could be one of those receivers that could be seeing some good eye for Villanova this season as well. So Villanova strikes first.
We saw a lot of Covington. We saw a lot of Barley. None of Jackson before that play, but Jackson actually had the first touchdown of 2019, now has the first touchdown of 2021.
So Fonda Caro for Villanova, going for the extra point, blocked! And that was made by number 20, Jabari Reddick. So the extra point is blocked, and Villanova only gets a 6-0 lead to start out the game. But Jalen Jackson able to punch into the end zone for the first time this season. And so that will send us to our first media timeout. So Villanova on the first drive of the game here at LaValle Stadium, they punch a touchdown but miss the extra point. They lead the Seawolves 6-0. As you're listening to Zach Wilson and Jonah Karp on 90.1 FM WUSB Stony Brook.
Serving breakfast, lunch, and catering options. Come to Bagel Express or call us at 631-675-2770.
Bring him out, bring him out.
Thank you, Matt. So, Stony Brook set to receive the kickoff from Cole Bunce. Jaden Turner, the running back, will be kicking it. And it's a pretty hard bounce. And it's going, and it's picked up by Villanova. What a kickoff, and they immediately set up shop at the 25-yard line. Are you kidding me? I mean, Stony Brook, I don't know if they were expecting that. I mean, like, there was some bounce. Not sure who was set to pick up that, but that was a mental error on Stony Brook's side.
Yeah, Zach, that was, and now we're waiting to see where the spot is, but that's excellent field position for Villanova to start. That's a big-time mental mistake for Stony Brook that is going to cost them early on one way or another. If they don't score, great, but, you know, even if they don't score, then you're still taking over deep in your own territory and you're wasting time.
Well, Stony Brook special teams has not been completely top-notch over the last few seasons. There have been some mistakes that they have made, including allowing a lot of open room for their opponents to make. So
the game clock has been rolling for the last minute or so, so they need to reset it. It's at 8:05 right now.
So it should be just around 9:05, probably from the moment that the kickoff was made, and they do reset it to 9:01. Villanova right at the 25-yard line now of Stony Brook. Will Barley in the backfield with Daniel Smith. Set up now in motion is Jared Wolf. In the slant, here's the snap. Smith will hand it off to Barley. He has nowhere to go as he is stepped up, moving over to his right. Tackle made by number 30, Redke DeManche, for no gain on the play. Looks like it's about 1 yard. Stony Brook's defense is really going to have to step up here and try and prevent Villanova from getting an early 2-score lead.
Well, we saw on that first drive that Smith loves number 19 Pringle, although Pringle is on the sideline right now, and Barley's lined up as a receiver.
So Smith all alone in the backfield. Now Will Barley will come back into the backfield with Smith. 2nd and 9 coming up. The receivers spread out. Smith, a handoff to Barley, trying to bust over the middle. Broken initial tackle, but only makes about 2 yards. And he is brought down by McKay Smith. Smith, the defensive lineman, along with Sam Kamara, forces just 1 yard once again, and it looks like it'll be 3rd and 7 right at the 21-yard line. 3rd and 6, actually, at the 8-minute mark, where Villanova up 6-0, has a chance to make it 9-0 at the very most, as they are right within field goal range.
Pringle just came back in, but he wasn't a part of the huddle. I'd imagine he's going to be a decoy, and he's the only receiver on the left side.
3 receivers spread out to the right. Barley in the backfield again, and before a play could be made, we have a whistle, and it looks like Priori is going to call a timeout. So it looks like, so if anything, Priori is trying to stop Villanova from converting another 3rd down today.
30 seconds.
Coach Priori didn't like something about that formation. Maybe it was exactly what I saw, and that Pringle just came in as a decoy, but then it looked like Stony Brook wasn't even prepared for him to come in. He was guarded one-on-one, and we know how difficult defensive backs have it when it's a one-on-one situation with Pringle. He could beat just about anybody on that field.
So with that last kickoff, it seemed like Stony Brook started to be certain of the fact that the ball would be going out of bounds, and that would have led to a kick out of bounds penalty that would have probably set up Stony Brook right around the 35-yard line, but they didn't realize that the wind would probably help the ball stay in bounds for Villanova. So that's probably why they are where they are right now. So Daniel Smith in the backfield. 5 receivers are spread out, but Barley moving now to the backfield with Smith as 4 receivers spread out to the left. 3rd and 6 now at the 21-yard line. Here's the snap, the fake, the screen, the throw over to Hayak is incomplete. That's Pringle actually, and it's an incomplete pass. It looks like the wind may have had something to do with Pringle not being able to make an accurate catch, and so it's 4th down. So that will bring out Cole Bunce, the kicker from TCU, will be attempting a field goal, and it looks like it'll be from 39 yards out.
Well, Pringle not a big guy, only 5'9", and that pass just sailed well over his head. Maybe the wind had something to do with it, but Smith a little bit off target to start this game.
So for a 39-yard field goal, snaps up, kick on its way, and it is just through the uprights. No, they say it's no good, and winked right at the last second. And another missed opportunity for Villanova to try and boot away more points. Stony Brook gets out big time, lucking out on a botched opportunity for Villanova scoring, and they'll immediately finally get the ball offensively for the first time this season.
All right, so the first time we get to see this Seawolves offense, first time in a year and a half, and a lot of new players on this offense. They had all of fall to figure things out and practice and build chemistry with these new faces. So we'll see this new looking Stony Brook offense.
And Jaden Turner in the backfield with Tyquell Fields. So Stony Brook at the 21-yard line for their first play offensively of 2021. Here's the snap, takes a handoff to Turner. Fields has to throw it away as he was getting pressured, and the pass is incomplete, just a little short of his receiver, Khalil Newton. Incomplete.
Newton, one of those new faces, transfer from Ball State, played 3 seasons there.
Tyquell Fields able to get that ball away before he had a chance to get sacked. You don't want to start off your first play of your season like that. So 2nd and 10 now for Stony Brook. Turner remaining in the backfield. Tyson Lawton not seeing any action yet. Here's the snap. The handoff now to Turner, getting a little speedy, running up the right sideline, getting a first down and more, busting up right to the 35-yard line. And Jaden Turner, with his speed, gets Stony Brook their first down of the season. Speedy little guy Jaden Turner is. He had a pretty big, one of his big plays last season when he was able to preserve his red shirt was against Delaware, having a huge touchdown from just inside midfield that tied the game up, or actually gave Stony Brook the lead at that point. First down to 35 now. 3 receivers spread out to the left. Turning in the backfield again. Fields looking, throwing over the middle. Catch is made at midfield, And that was Tyler DeVera, the redshirt freshman tight end. And we may be getting an extra 15 yards as the flag is called right at the Villanova sideline.
DeVera
Yeah, we are.
for another Century Tunde first down.
And it looks like that's going to be the case here. Stony Brook getting themselves right near field goal range themselves. Getting a few quick plays and they're finding themselves right into Villanova territory already.
Foul. Number 3. Defense.
And the foul is indeed called on Elijah Glover of Villanova, the sophomore defensive back. So the play was made out of bounds just around the 45-yard line, so it'll set up Stony Brook right at the 30 for another first down.
Tyler DeVera, another transfer, came over from Maryland. Number 3 rated tight end in the state of New Jersey out of high school.
Ball is placed at the 33-yard line.
After the penalty, first
Turner
and 10
set
for
up
the
in the wide
Seawolves.
receiver position. Two
From the
receivers spread out to the right.
33.
Fields in the backfield alone. First down coming up. Stony Brook right near field goal range. His knees curled. Here's the snap. Another handoff to Jane Turner. Sees a big open hole. He's got a first down and more. And he's brought down from behind inside the 25. Gets another first down, but had it not been for the tackle from behind, he could have gone even farther. No telling whether or not he would have gotten a score, but he's been getting off a real good first impression in his redshirt freshman season.
It's that thunder lightning combination between Lawton and Turner that Stony Brook has, and they've gone with Turner on their first offensive drive of this season, and he's shown that when he gets into space, Zach, Turner can take off, and if not for that shoestring tackle, he would have been gone.
So at the 22-yard line, the Seawolves are. Here's the snap. Fields looking to throw. He's going to throw over to his left. The catch is picked off at the 10-yard line, and we have whistle called, and that was made by Christian Benford. Oh my God, that was a great methodical drive for Stony Brook. Disaster. It seems to end up in the end. Fields throwing an unfortunate pick right in the red zone.
He was looking for Newton, who had a step on his defensive back Benford, but that ball was underthrown, and had he thrown over the head of the defensive back, I think it's safe to say Newton would have found pay dirt.
Stony Brook was right in field goal range and had a chance to get on the board for the first time this season, but instead, Villanova forcing a pick will get the ball at their own 14-yard line. Smith in the backfield with 2 running backs, 3 receivers spread out, 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Here's the snap. The handoff inside to Barley, just getting across the 20-yard line. That's actually another running back for Villanova. That's TD Ayo Durajai. He gets just about a few yards, 4 yards on the play, 2nd and 6.
Say that 10 times fast.
Well, I couldn't really say that too much when we were doing the game at Villanova. Well, TD is very much you could probably say it, because TD if he ever gets one today. 2nd and 6 now at the 18-yard line. Here's the snap. Another handoff up the middle, and he's tackled probably by his own teammate, and punching dirt was Jalen Jackson. He didn't get much on the play. It looked like he lost a yard, as a matter of fact, setting up 3rd and long.
The Stony Brook defense has stepped up to the task after struggling on that first drive to figure out this Villanova offense. We mentioned all the weapons that the Wildcats have, but this Stony Brook defense has held strong the last 2 drives.
We'll see if they're trying to force Villanova to punt for the first time today. 3rd and 7. Smith all along the backfield. 4 receivers spread out evenly. Here's the snap. Smith looking to throw. He's got some time. Throwing over the middle, and it's caught right across the 25-yard line. Catch was made by Jaquan Allen, and that's a Villanova first down. So another 3rd down long that Villanova is able to convert on. They are ruled at the 28-yard line.
Another throw that was low. Allen had to go down to get it. Couldn't stay on his feet. Smith continues to be just a tad off target, but that expected with this being the first game.
So another first down coming. Here's the snap. The handoff up the middle to TD, and he is immediately. That's actually Jalen Jackson, but don't get any far. It's just 1 yard in the play. Tackle made by Justin Burns.
Jackson, the ball carrier.
So it looks like Villanova is using 4 running backs so far today. You see TD getting in there. You get Will Barley. You get Justin Covington. And you also get that Jalen Jackson guy, too.
Zach, Villanova has a new quarterback in. It's number 14, Connor Watkins, instead of number 12, Daniel Smith.
Well, this is pretty an interesting sight to see. I wonder what is up with that. So Watkins will be in the backfield now, 2nd and 9 with 3 receivers spread out. Fakes it, throwing over the left. The catch is made by number 10 of Villanova. That was Des Boykin, and he was initially tackled, broke out of it, but he could not advance the ball any further. And he'll find himself right at the 34-yard line, just 4 yards short of a first down. Quite interesting tackle made. Couldn't tell who had a ball, just didn't see.
Tackled by Reddick.
So there he goes, Jabari Reddick making that tackle. So another 3rd down coming for Villanova. 3 receivers are spread out once again. Here's the snap. Watkins looking set the throw, is getting tackled. He finds a screen pass over to Covington, and he is tackled. May be short of the first down. Refs might say that he just got there.
I think he was short, Zach.
Let's see if they move those chains or if they call him just short. They may call for the chains to come in and determine whether or not this is close. But from our angle, it does look like the ball is just inches short, and we'll see whether or not that will give Villanova an idea to go for it.
Tackle by DeMunch.
And they're going to take a look. Refs are waiting to see what the situation is. Chains have not come out yet, and now it looks like they are about to. So they will use the chains to determine whether or not the ball did just break enough for a first down. Was a good catch made, but let's see if it was enough. And it looks like that is just enough for a first down.
It is a first down for Villanova.
It does go to the middle of that final chain, which means that it is going to be another Villanova first down.
I thought that was a generous spot.
First and
It didn't
10
look
from the
like
48.
on first glance that Covington got there, but I think that was a pretty generous spot that they gave Villanova to keep this drive alive.
Could be hard to see from our angle what it is nowadays. So we got first down now for Villanova. They are at the 38-yard line. Barley in the backfield once again. 3 receivers are spread out to the right, one to the left. Stony Brook trying to get a little better with the defense. Here's the snap. Handoff inside to Barley. Barley able to shift a little, around a little, but he is met immediately by the defenders of Stony Brook, and he gets no gain on the play.
And this is the biggest difference when you have a guy like Watkins behind center instead of Smith. We mentioned so often during this broadcast that Smith is a dual threat quarterback who could take off with his legs, so a lot of those run pass options are fair game when you have guys like Covington in the backfield. But instead you have Watkins, who appears to be more of a traditional drop back quarterback.
So with less than 2 minutes to go, Villanova with the ball up 6-0, 2nd and 10 at their own 38-yard line. The receivers spread out to the right again. 2 running backs in the backfield with Watkins. Here's the snap, another handoff to Barley. Barley running outside, pushed out of bounds at the 40-yard line for a gain of 2. Stony Brook keeping the pressure up defensively by using their rush defense perfectly.
Jackson, the ball carrier.
Jalen Jackson was actually the one who had the ball in the backfield. It was him and Barley with Watkins, so they'll set up 3rd and 8. Hard to see why Daniel Smith is not being used right now. Probably it's because that he may have an injury. We'll see if we can get any word about that, whether or not. So Connor Watkins still in the backfield on 3rd and 8 for Villanova. 4 receivers are spread out. Let's see if Stony Brook can use the pass rush here to force a 4th down. Here's the snap. Watkins looking to throw, getting pressured, had to throw it away, trying to find Allen, and he's got a catch across the 30-yard line. And Stony Brook is complaining big time there should be a pass interference on the play. What a catch made by Rajon Pringle. There was a lot of contact being made between both players, and refs are just going to let that be.
That was good coverage by Reddick, but I think, if anything, if there was going to be a whistle blown, a pass interference called, I would think that it would be on Reddick, who never turned his head. He was just watching Pringle the whole way. I like the no call, though, and an excellent catch by Pringle.
So McKay Smith is right now down on the field. For Stony Brook, he looks injured. And it stops the clock at 1:07. Stony Brook had a chance right there to stop Villanova, and it looks like with that long pass that Watkins may have had to throw away. Rajon Pringle fortunate enough to make that an excellent coverage against Reddick, as you said. But as I saw, the Stony Brook sideline was screaming for an offensive pass interference penalty. Because there could have been contact on either one, but that would have probably negated. So we are right now in a timeout that brings up about just a minute to go before we're back. But we'll keep it here for the meantime because we are 107 away from the end of the first quarter.
I mean, I didn't see a push-off. I'd imagine Stony Brook being a lot closer to the play. The catch was made right in front of where the gathering is along the sideline, so they had a better angle than we do. We're perched up above the bleachers, but I didn't see a push-off from our angle, and I just thought that was a great no call because, if anything, there was contact on both sides between Pringle and Reddick. And you got to credit the throw by Watkins. Just coming into the game, probably didn't expect to play with Smith being as great as he was last season. We don't have word on what the reason for Smith not being in the game is, but Watkins made a tremendous throw, just squeezing that into his receiver.
Very fortunate to have Pringle make that in tight coverage, as I said. So at the timeout, Villanova with possession at the Stony Brook 26-yard line. The receivers are spread out, 2 running backs in the backfield with Watkins. Stony Brook's defense has had trouble with the pass rush, trying to do as much as they can with either one-on-one or a zone. First down coming up. Here's the snap. Watkins looking to throw. Hit from behind. Ball is loose. And it's picked up by the offensive lineman. That was Sam Camara. Welcome back. What an aggressive front by one of the best defensive linemen on the team. And that's going to push Villanova way back at the Stony Brook 38-7-yard line. A loss of 11 on the play, 2nd and 21.
And if it wasn't for Temi Ajora-Tutu, the offensive lineman being Johnny on the spot, right place at the right time, that could have been bad for Villanova.
This was allowed Stony Brook to look good, especially if they apply enough to rush the quarterback. 2nd and 21 now for Villanova. Here's the snap, and up to middle to Jalen Jackson, and he makes it right to the 35-yard line and makes about a gain of 6 yards on the play, right inside the 30-yard line to the 29. And it looks like with that, Villanova will just let it wind down to the end of the first quarter. So, Stony Brook had an offensive drive going, but unfortunately ended with Fields having his throw picked off. Villanova leading 6-0. We are still in a close game. They'll send it to another media timeout. Zach Wilson and Jonah Karp giving you Stony Brook football action live on 9.1 FM WUSB for the Seawolves. And we talk about him when he's healthy, he is dangerous. So Watkins now in the backfield. He's got Jalen TD with him with a 3rd and long coming. Here's the snap. Watkins looking to throw. Sees a wide open receiver in Pringle. Makes the catch across the 25-yard line and will be just about 2 yards short of a first down, setting up 4th and short. And it looks like Villanova may be going for it here.
Just going back to that strip sack fumble, Zach, that ended up with an offensive recovery. But this is a Villanova team that doesn't allow a whole lot of sacks. Last season, they only allowed 1 sack per game. A lot of that's because of the great performance by the offensive line, but a lot of that is because of Daniel Smith and how elusive he could be with his feet.
So it's a 4th and 2 upcoming. Stony Brook looking to try and force it on no turnovers. 5 receivers are spread out to the left. Now TD coming in motion. Fakes the handoff to him. Watkins pushing up the middle, and it looks like he just got enough for a first down. Looks like it was a little fake screen to TD that allowed Watkins to rush it up inside. It looks like he got about 3 yards on the play. Will that be enough for a first down? Will they bring out the chains again? This could be short, or it could be enough.
Yeah, they're going to measure it once again.
And we'll see whether or not the chains does favor Villanova once more.
But the fact that TD, I'm going to take a shot at it, Ayodurajaye, the fact that he's getting a lot of action is a testament to how many different running backs that this team has. He's already the 4th we've seen.
And the chains reveal that he is short. And Stony Brook forces the ball on turnovers. Defense stepping up big time, and they'll get the ball back right at their own 18-yard line. So this time, it favors Stony Brook. What an amazing stand on the defensive end for Stony Brook, trying to keep the offense in this game as they get the ball for the second time.
And I thought the first time they gave it to Villanova, it was a bit of a generous spot. This one, Stony Brook catches a break.
So first down the 18 as Fields has the ball with Turner in the backfield. Here's the snap. Hand off inside to Turner. He leads a first down and more. That's across the 20-yard line, just right at the 30. And Turner keeping up his speed as an explosive running back so far. And now set up Stony Brook first down to 29-yard line. And we have another. Looks like Stony Brook's also doing the same thing with the quarterback shift. They're bringing in Joshua Zamot, the redshirt sophomore. This is one pretty interesting move. Let's see what it does here. With Stony Brook now with the ball at the 29-yard line. Two receivers spread out to the right. Here's the snap. Zamot moving around to his left. He's going to throw. Catch is made. No, it's dropped by one of the receivers, and that was Anthony Del Negro, the tight end, who could not complete the catch. Incomplete.
And now Fields comes back in. Zamot expected to be the quarterback of the future for this Seawolves team. Usually you see those types of situations later on in the season. If the team doesn't have much to play for, you want to see what your quarterback of the future can do with your team. You never see that the first game of the season.
Well, against a team like Villanova, it's really hard to see whether or not Chuck Priori will want to pull something like this. So incomplete, second and 10 at the 29-yard line. Here's the snap, another handoff to Turner, running around to the right, getting across the 35-yard line. He is brought down at the 39, and that's another first down.
Turner, the ball carrier.
Turner has been looking very explosive with his run game so far in the first half.
That is another Center H Hyundai first down.
We haven't really seen Tyson Lawton. It's been all Turner, but he's been fantastic.
It's hard to see why Tyson Lawton is not in right now, but does not seem to be hurting Stony Brook for the moment because of how shifty and how fast Jaden Turner has been able to show as a redshirt freshman. So first down at the 39-yard line. Fields setting up the ball with three receivers to his left. Here's the snap. Fields will look to throw. He's got some time, has to throw a heaver down the field for Helms, and he has the catch across the 40-yard line. Delonte Helms, the redshirt junior, puts the Seawolves in Villanova territory. What an amazing throw by Fields and a great catch by Helms.
Well, they call him Big Play Tay for a reason. The guy can just get open. And when he's in space, he's got great hands. Only had one touchdown last year, but that was a 57-yarder.
So now first down at the 37-yard line. Stony Brook right near field goal range. And we have an early movement on Villanova's end, and that will lead to offsides. Jaden Cook in the backfield with the Fields. And it looks like that is going to be a 5-yard penalty on the Wildcats, making it 1st and 5 instead of 32. So there have been situations like this over the last few seasons where the opponent has moved early, but Stony Brook has not reacted. That would have led to offside. But they're able to do so here. Of course, the one responsible this time did make contact with one of the Stony Brook offensive linemen. So 1st and 5 at the 32-yard line. We're at the 12.5 mark in the second quarter. Here's the snap. And off to Cook inside the middle. Sees a little bit of a hole. Does get the first down right inside the 25-yard line. Makes it to the 24.
Oh, now a little bit of Jaden Cook, seeing what the freshman has to offer.
These rookies for Stony Brook on the running game have shown already immediate impacts, and that has been very promising. As I said, Stony Brook, known for their running game over the last few seasons, has been exceptional in the CAA. And it looks like that has not stopped here this season. So now it's going to be first down at the 24-yard line. Fields with the ball. And before he has a chance to throw, we have a flag call, and this is going to be another false start.
Yeah, there was movement.
Fields was looking to throw the ball, but won't get that opportunity. So Stony Brook will be backed up 5 yards. First and 15 at the 29-yard line.
It was Justin Morgan who jumped.
Justin Morgan, one of the offensive linemen on the team, who wears number 71. Stony Brook donning the red and white jerseys, the white names and numbers. Well, for Villanova, they're with the white jerseys, has blue on their numbers and names. Still waiting for a chance to have Angelo Guglielmo, the rookie, work for his first kick. meaningfully to get some points in his rookie career. First and 15 at the 29-yard line. Newton sent in motion. Here's the snap to hand off inside to Turner. Immediately met right at the 30-yard line by one of the defenders, and he'll be stopped for the first time today.
Give us to Turner.
Well, that's where Villanova's defensive line had to step up and stop the rushing for Stony Brook after they have allowed a lot of big plays running for Stony Brook throughout the first half. It's a loss of 1 on the play, backs up Stony Brook to the 30-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 16.
This is very much the opposite of the shootout we expected going into the game.
Pretty much. 4 receivers spread out. Turner in the backfield again. Here's the snap. Fields looking. He'll throw over to his right for Turner. Is met immediately, and he loses yards once again. Fields had to find a screen over to Turner, but he was immediately met by 2 defenders, and that's going to back him up even further. And that will set up 3rd and very long.
You know, it's certainly possible that the frigid temperature is playing a factor in throwing the ball, and of course it plays as equal a factor when you're kicking the ball. But perhaps this is why we're seeing a lot of the run game more so than the passing game on both sides.
Let's see if Stony Brook has a chance to get into field goal range. 3rd and 16 at the 32-yard line. 4 receivers spread out. Here's the snap. Fields looking, throwing a deep ball down the right field. It's across the 25-yard line. The catch is made by Khalil Newton. So that sets up Stony Brook right at the, refs will say that he is right at the 22-yard line. So that'll be 4th down, and the field goal unit comes out.
4th and 16 for the Seawolves.
So you got now Angelo Guglielmo finally getting the chance for his first field goal attempt of his career, and it'll be a 40-yard field goal attempt. Nick Courtney graduated last season, had some amazing kicks for Stony Brook in games like James Madison and Villanova. So Guglielmo, the freshman, let's see what he can do. From 40 yards out, good snap, kick is on its way, and it is wide left, no good.
And that started sinking with about 5 yards to go. Guglielmo gave it a go though.
Seems like that, but it didn't look like at first it was going to be enough of a boot that would have allowed Guglielmo to kick it through the upright. Stony Brook, remaining scoreless, has yet to capitalize with any points yet. They've had some good these 2 drives in scoring position. Stony Brook has ended with nothing at all.
But Zach, I mean, Villanova hasn't really produced, aside from that first drive where they took it all the way down the field. They've been held off the scoreboard. So you take your chance in trying to get points on the board, trying to cut into this deficit. And if you don't get it, which obviously they didn't, you give Villanova back the ball with not very high expectations that they're going to be able to take it down again.
Well, Stony Brook's offense has been troubling so far. Only 2 drives, and this is when we were just midway through the 2nd quarter. Stony Brook not seeing that many opportunities to force Villanova all over. I mean, so far the only difference has been that Villanova got a touchdown on the opening drive, but an extra point was missed. But this may put a lot more pressure on the defense to try and limit Villanova. So once again, the offense comes back out, and this time Daniel Smith comes in. It's really questionable to see the last few drives with Connor Watkins coming in for the Wildcats. But Smith back in. They know that with Smith, their offense could be one heck of a play. So they had the ball at their own 22-yard line with 3 receivers spread out and Barley in the backfield. Actually, TD with it. Ayo Dosunmu. It's really interesting why they're not using too much of Justin Covington today. 3 receivers are spread out to the right now. Here's the snap. Fakes it. Throws over to the left. Catch is made by number 27 of Villanova across the 30-yard line. That was Jared Wolf with the ball, the senior from Seaford. So he is from here on Long Island. Extends the drive. Another Villanova first down right at the 34-yard line.
Well, Covington was the bell cow in the first quarter. Hasn't really seen the field in the 2nd quarter. Remember, he's coming off an ACL tear.
Probably why they're still easing him. Another first down. Handoff inside. And the running back looks like that was TD with it. loses yards on the play after the defense swarms in. And that may have been Tyler King, who had the big tackle for loss.
Jackson, the ball carrier.
Another big play, forced tackle and loss by the Stony Brook defense, 2nd and 13. So they're backed up now to the 31-yard line. 2nd and 13 with 4 receivers spread out evenly to the left and the right. TD at the backfield again with Smith. Here's the snap. TD is looking to pass. Going to throw a deep ball over the middle. Pass is made by Jaquan Allen right at the 45-yard line. It's another Villanova first down.
Is complete to Allen.
Allen hasn't seen he's seen the field a lot, just hasn't seen the ball too often in this game. Was held without a catch in that first quarter. It was a lot of Pringle. Des Boykin had a catch. Herrick got a lot of attention. Hayek, rather. Allen not so much, but he's a big guy with good hands.
First down at the 46-yard line. TD in the backfield again with Smith. A handoff to TD. Gets over the hole across midfield. Almost broke away, but tackle made for a 9-yard gain for TD, and that was McKay Smith with the tackle.
Run by Iro DeRosier.
Stony Brook defense trying to hold on to their own, but the offense still not getting any points yet.
2nd and 1 for
Stony Brook's
Villanova.
offense has been quite questionable to watch
Stony Brook
over their last few games, especially last season after their best was, of course, that upset win against Villanova. 2nd and 1. Smith calling an audible, trying to catch Stony Brook off guard to force a first down, but still a manageable position for Smith to hand the ball off for more yards. Blitz coming. Here's the snap. Hand off over to TD, and he is immediately tackled for a loss of 2. Flag is on the play.
DeRosier.
I think there was movement on offense, Zach.
Probably an illegal shift, if that's what you call it. Villanova's not moving down the field. So they're calling a holding against Villanova, so that will back them up to 2nd and 11. Stony Brook will not decline the penalty because that would have given Villanova still a fair opportunity to get a first down on 3rd and short. So they'll make it a little harder for them here on 2nd and 11.
I agree with not declining the penalty, but we've seen this Villanova offense work so methodically and convert on these 3rd down opportunities.
Stony Brook at this rate, it looks like they're going to have to start working hard on being able to play man-to-man in order to keep the receivers at bay and put the pressure on Daniel Smith. Sam Kamara has been responsible for getting the only sack, actually, on the Villanova quarterback so far today. Smith alone in the backfield, Barley in the wide receiver positions. Now shifting over is Hayek. Moving over to his left, could be looking at him. Throw over made. Catch is made. He gets it right across midfield, and he's pushed out of bounds, and the rest will rule him down at the 49-yard line, setting up 3rd and 5. So if Stony Brook did decline the penalty, that would have been 3rd and 3. So the difference was that 2 yards more for Villanova upcoming on 3rd down.
Gregory Young was right there. TJ Morrison was in the vicinity as well. Great secondary that Stony Brook has, a veteran secondary.
We'll see if they have a chance to try and force Villanova into a 4th down. No punts have been made by either team yet today. We'll see how big of a factor that plays out, since both punters have not had their hands dirty yet. Their feet dirty, rather. Here's the snap. Smith looking to throw. He's going to take a deep ball down the field for Pringle. He makes a catch inside the 10, and he is into the end zone for the touchdown. Jabari Reddick trying to stay close to him, but he just could not get away from the separation, and Reddick calling out for a penalty. He won't get one. So it's 13, and so now it's 12-0 Villanova at the 6-minute mark.
I didn't see a push-off on that either.
Yeah.
Reddick has been asking for a penalty. Pringle's just so fast.
Well, he has really been showing it so far. No Chunga Hodge, no problem. Players like Jaquan Allen and Pringle have been stepping up big time so far in the first half. So now Cole Bunce on the extra point. And we had early movement, and we'll see whether, and this may be offsides against Stony Brook. Cole Bunce has extra point blocked on the last touchdown drive for Villanova. Refs waiting to see who moved first. A lot of wide open plays that Daniel Smith has been able to work towards. I can tell you right now, it's looked better. So they're going to call this an offsides against Stony Brook that they moved first. But they'll decline. Seems like Villanova doesn't want to push towards going for a 2-point conversion yet. They'll just settle for the extra point to make it 13-0. Bunts now for the extra point. As I said, he missed in the first touchdown drive. Almost moving again. High snap, kick on its way. It's up and it's right through the uprights and good. So this time, Bunts is able to connect on an extra point. And we got 13-0 lead for Villanova. But it looks like somebody on the Seawolves is injured, and that was the same player that complained, Jabari Reddick.
Reddick is still on the ground, being looked at by the trainers, and some of the coaching staff has come out in the field too.
As if this day for Reddick has not gotten any more harder by botching 2 big plays that he could have been able to defend off. So we'll take it to another media timeout. So 6 minutes to go in the first half. Villanova capitalizes on another touchdown, making it 13-0 Villanova. Zach Wilson and Jonah Karp giving you Stony Brook football action live on 90.1 FM, WUSB Stony Brook.
Stony Brook's got a Pringle of their own. Got Randy Pringle.
I know.
Maybe he's going to come in for Reddick. Well, Pringle on Pringle.
Offense has been a little troublesome for Stony Brook. Only two drives in the first half.
I'm not sure why they brought in Zamote for that one play.
They usually do this type of shtick and all.
They do?
I remember one time where they had a playoff game where we still had Joe Carbone as our quarterback. They decided to put in Tackwell Fields for a few plays. It's these plays that are always been questionable. I'm kind of looking a little more forward, if I am still going to be with Stony Brook in a few years, to see their next quarterback that could be a star. Thank you very much, Ken. So we're back here at LaValle Stadium. Zach Wilson and Jonah Karp giving you Stony Brook football action live on 90.1 FM WSB Stony Brook. Villanova leading Stony Brook early, 13-0 at the 6-minute mark in the second quarter. Villanova has had some good looks so far today. Stony Brook has done the same, but the difference is that Villanova has been able to capitalize, while Stony Brook has not had any scores put up yet. Missed field goal by the freshman Angelo Guglielmello, and another scoring opportunity, but Fields threw a pick right in the red zone. So
that missed field goal was critical.
So another kickoff cup coming. This time it's going to be Stony Brook that will be taking back, and it looks like Jane Turner is going to return. Trying to move it around, doesn't get much there, doesn't even make it to the 15-yard line. He's knocked down at the 14. This is probably not what Chuck Priori wanted from his team to start the season. They seem to have a lot of capabilities to do better than what they are right now, but there have been, and like I said, there have been weapons that they have, and just not many chances to utilize.
Well, part of it too, Zach, is exactly what we mentioned going into this game. The chemistry just appears to be a little bit off. We saw a lot of Jaden Turner, and we will probably continue to see him.
So a handoff inside of the middle for Jaden Turner, as you said, makes it right to the 25-yard line, and that will move the chains. So one of the bright spots, as we talked about so far in this game, is Jaden Turner putting up an exceptional running play. 9-yard gain on the play puts him up to 40, puts him up to 55 now on the first half. We're at the 5.5-minute mark. We'll see if Stony Brook can try and get a score before halftime.
Well, if you're not confident that your quarterback has chemistry with your receivers, and you're going to call a lot of these run plays.
well, these weapons have experience, and you need to do better. 5 on the play clock. Fields with the snap. We'll hand it off up the middle now. Dayton Turner with the ball. Actually, it's Fields. And he does make it right near the 30-yard line to the 29, and that will set up a first down for Stony Brook. Couldn't tell whether or not there was any miscommunication between Turner and Fields, but fortunate for them, the ball did not become loose.
Well, we know that Fields can run the ball. Set a school record for total yards in a season.
So now first down at the 29-yard line for the Seawolves. 4 receivers are spread out. Turner in the backfield with Fields. Here's the snap. Fields will look to throw. Over to his left. Catch made by Khalil Newton across the 35-yard line. Out of bounds at the Villanova sideline, the 36. Gain of 5 on the play. So that's where the utilization of your weapons comes in. But being able to be on par with the players that have a lot of experience. Khalil Newton coming from a team way higher level than Stony Brook. They made a gain of 7 on the play, so 2nd and 3 at the 36.
Jaden Cook is in the backfield instead of Turner.
Well, Cook and Turner has had some good moves running so far in the first half. 2 receivers are spread out. Newton set in motion on the right. Here's the snap. Handoff inside to Cook. Trying to bust forward. Makes about a few yards on the play. Looks like he gets 2. He'll be 1 yard short of the first down.
There was some pushing and shoving between Helms and Benford.
Well, as I said, this is going to be, the history has favored Stony Brook so far, but Villanova's doing the right thing. The only problem is they've done this before the last 2 games, and in the end, they just botched their leads. Stony Brook could be setting up for that as long as they keep themselves in this game.
Benford with the big defensive play when Stony Brook was approaching the red zone. He had an interception.
3rd and 1. Another handoff inside to Cook. Cook is nowhere to go. He is stuffed up and loses yards on the play. It looks like we got some fight going on on the far side of the 40, right near the Villanova sideline.
Yeah, same guys. It's Helms and Benford.
So backed up, Stony Brook will be forced to punt. First punt of the day upcoming between both teams. For Stony Brook, they'll have their punter, number 56 it is. That's actually Mike Boyle, believe it or not.
Mike Boyle will punt for Stony Brook.
We would expect Mitchell Wright to be doing that, but it's really hard to see why the likes of Mitchell Wright and Tyson Lawton have not yet appeared in this game.
Well, Wright was listed as questionable.
So now the punt away goes right to the 40-yard line. Fair catch made by number 27, which was, of course, Jared Wolf. So Wolf makes the catch as Villanova will set up shop at the 40-yard line with 2:36 left to go in the first half.
First and 10 for Villanova from their own 40.
So Stony Brook has still, Stony Brook is still having a little trouble trying to get the right formula down for making a good offense. The pieces are there, but the ability to utilize them just hasn't been perfected yet. And like I said, this is still putting a lot of pressure to the defense to keep Stony Brook in this game, and that is probably what caused them to break down and allow that wide open touchdown to Rajon Pringle on their last drive.
And off that short punt, this is great starting field position for Villanova.
So at the 40-yard line, here's the snap as Smith will throw it wide open to the left. It's Barley getting across midfield, pushed out of bounds by Gregory Young, and there'll be another first down for Villanova.
Stony Brook not doing a great job covering in the flat. That 4-2-5 allows, they really drop back in zone, so that allows for a lot of spaces in the initial 5 yards. So if you can get into space and make a man miss, you could pick up chunk yardage.
2:10 left to go. Villanova looking to get a touchdown before the end of the first half, and they'll call a timeout to preserve a little time on the clock. They used the first of their first timeout of the first half. Both teams with 2 left here in the first half. Chuck Riori is really having some difficult issues. But of course, this is all these weapons are probably going to be back for Stony Brook in the fall, but if anything, they still want to focus on the here and now. We know that Villanova is the 5th-ranked team in the country, but so far it looks like Stony Brook has been able to keep pace with them. There's just been some connections that, as I said, Stony Brook still needs to work on being able to perfect, because get those down, you got yourself a ball game, but this is not. But still, no points at all. And it's hard to anticipate. It could be hard to see whether or not Stony Brook may even get any today. When you to go scoreless in your first game of the season is not what you want.
And this Wildcats team can put up points in bunches. A lot of pressure on this defense.
So the handoff now inside to Barley. Gets tackled from behind. Forces about only 2 yards on the play. Wolf with the ball carrier, and you got Gregory Young. It's actually somebody else who made that tackle, so it'll be 2nd and 8 at the 41-yard line. Stony Brook is going to get the ball to start the second half, so they want to try and keep it a 2-score game at the very least, because they were down that road before last time they hosted Villanova. 2nd and 8, here's the snap. Villanova. Smith has a lot of room. He's going to throw a deep ball down the field, and the catch is incomplete. The receiver tried to extend out arms, but Stony Brook, being able to force that defense, couldn't allow him to catch it well, and it's 3rd and 8 coming up.
Daniel Smith attacking the weak side of the secondary of Stony Brook with Reddick out momentarily. We mentioned the injury earlier. He's been replaced by Randy Pringle.
Stony Brook fans, it's 3rd down.
And as we said, Rajon Pringle and Randy Pringle not related in any way. So 3rd and 8 coming up. Clock stopped at 1:29. Smith in the backfield again with Barley. 4 receivers spread out. Blitz coming. Here's the snap. Smith looking to throw. Has to move motion. He's going to toss it away, and it falls out of bounds. Incomplete.
Smith's pass is incomplete.
And Stony Brook able to use that blitz to force Smith to have to just throw it away and avoid the sack, potentially giving Stony Brook a good field position, if anything, and now it'll force Villanova to punt for the first time today.
Smith not an easy guy to bring down, but you bring the house, you force him outside the pocket, and you force him to make a quick decision, you get results like that. That was an excellent play by the Stony Brook defense, and timely.
So with 1:22 left to go, Stony Brook getting the ball back. We'll see, depending on where they get the ball, as we approach 5 on the play clock, they're going to have to hurry this up. And it looks like a high snap. A little miscommunication. They did get the ball off. Saban Neckhead will let that go out of bounds. And the play clock was winding down. Villanova had to hurry up. If Stony Brook had recognized that too, they would have been able to force that, because that was a really high snap. Ball goes out of bounds at the 11-yard line. And with 1:16 left to go, Stony Brook has possession of the ball, trying to capture their first score of the game right before halftime.
It turned into a pretty good punt despite the high snap.
The play clock was winding down. It was really fortunate for Villanova to get that off, or else they would have had to get backed up 5 yards and give Stony Brook a little more chance to prepare. So we'll see how this works out, because usually over the last few seasons, Stony Brook has run out the clock with this much time, and we'll see if they do it again. 1:16 left to go, handoff inside, and that's what it looks like they're going to do. Jaden Cook with the ball, makes it right to the 15-yard line.
Yeah, and they're not calling timeout. It looks like this is just going to take us to halftime. They're going to run the ball 3 times. If you had more confidence in your receivers, 1:16 would be plenty of time on the clock to move the ball downfield.
Everybody else would have had the thought of doing this, but for Chuck Priori, he has always decided to play it safe and be conservative in these situations. However, this could allow Villanova one last gasp, if anything, as they continue to do this. Handoff inside again to Cook, getting just across the 10-yard line again, makes it about a 2-yard gain. And we are under 30 seconds.
Solo and Slay on the tackle.
Here, Solo and Slay making the tackle on Cook once again, brings us to 3rd and 7. And it looks like that's going to do it.
3rd and 8 for the Seawolves from their own 13.
Loss of a yard in the play, under 10 seconds, and it looks like that's the way it's going to be to end the first half. So entering the locker room, 5th-ranked Villanova leads the home team Stony Brook Seawolves 13-0. Only 4 drives for Stony Brook in the first half. 2 of the 4 were scoring opportunities, but they could not cash in on either one of them. Villanova cashes in on 2 of their drives in the first half, getting touchdowns. 1 extra point missed, the other made. This is once again a close competition, but Stony Brook, their offense is looking pretty far off.
Well, no one has more than 1 catch for Stony Brook after the first half. Helms has the big reception, 1 catch for 23 yards. DeVera has 1 catch for 17 yards. Hayek has 1 catch for 10 yards. that's how this first half has gone. Just no one has been able to step up in the passing game. And we've seen 3 different guys run for Stony Brook. One of them was Fields. He had 1 carry, but it's been the majority of Turner and Cook. And then apart from those 2 guys, no offense for Stony Brook in that first half. And then on the other side, a whole bunch of players ran for Villanova. You got a total of 5 different players enter the passing game, or the rushing game rather, for Villanova in that first half. And then the revelation of Pringle, 7 catches in that first half. He made a mark, 125 yards already, including that touchdown catch of 49 yards where he just beat his man downfield.
Well, you see that both teams had a few plays on their drives where their backup quarterback for Villanova, they had Connor Watkins come in for a few plays. They had Joshua Zamos for just 1, apparently. And we'll see whether or not Stony Brook can try and get back into the rhythm. As I said, they're still searching for their first score of the first game of 2021. So that will bring us to halftime. Stony Brook trailing 5th-ranked Villanova 13-0. We'll be back on the air at about 1:30 for the start of the second half. Zach Wilson and Jonah Karp giving you Stony Brook football action live on 90.1 FM. WUSB Stony Brook, the longtime home for Seawolves Athletics.
We believe in teamwork, working together.
Stony Brook Seawolves 13-0. So Jonah, you and I saw that first half was all right for the defense, because after what this history has been over the last 2 games between both teams, this was the lowest over that 3-game span that the Seawolves have held the Wildcats to at the half. But this offense for Stony Brook, as worse so far, hasn't produced any points yet.
No, this offense has come out of the gate very, very slow this year, and it was a bit expected with, the long layoff from the last time these 2 teams took the field just over 460 days ago, but also with all the new weapons that Stony Brook has on offense this year, they have to adjust, and Fields has to get used to all his new weapons. And we saw, especially at the end of the first half, they were given the ball with plenty of time to go down the field and try and get on the scoreboard. Instead, Coach Chuck Priori said, we're just going to run the clock out and take it to halftime. And I think that's a testament to how little faith he has in Fields and the weapons he has right now. That's not to say, going through the rest of the season, this will be a frequent occurrence, but, you have Exhibit A with that. You have Exhibit B with the fact that around the 30-yard line, they chose to kick a field goal, a long field goal, instead of going for it on 4th down. It's little things like that could have made a difference, but Chuck Priori goes conservative, and instead, it leads to a scoreless goose egg on the scoreboard right now, Zach.
Believe me, Jonah, like I said, this is what I said late in the first half when that happened, that this has been the recurring theme for Chuck Priori and his squad over the last few seasons, that he just decides when they're hoisted this far deep that they don't want to test too much and give Villanova a chance, because he seems to worry that if Stony Brook fails to convert in any way and allows Villanova to get the ball back with some time left, that they could be right in Stony Brook territory and with a chance to get a score. But that's taking the easy way out, as we ever seen anything like that. You need to be a lot more testament, and you gotta be a lot more prepared and be assured that you have to have faith. Because if you don't have faith in your team, then they're going to lose faith in you. That could question their commitment and their confidence with this team.
Well, the good news for Stony Brook is that they elected to defer going into the ball game, so that means they'll get the ball to start this second half and cut into this deficit. Villanova did miss an extra point, or they had an extra point blocked in that first half, so maybe that'll come back to bite the Wildcats. Stony Brook did catch breaks. Villanova has been very unfortunate, I guess you could say, when it comes to the penalty flag not going in their favor, but they've been very aggressive on defense. That's held Stony Brook off the scoreboard. But now, if you take shots down the field, maybe you can get some calls going your way if you're the Seawolves.
Yeah, so hopefully they can use the second half. They're down 13, of course, but that doesn't mean that they're out of this game. If what we've seen anything from Stony Brook over the last few times they played Villanova, it's that nothing has been impossible for them. And you can't say that it's not going to be the same this time, because if the offense does show up in the second half and the defense continues to play the same as it did in the first half, then you might as well see that Stony Brook is going to get themselves back into this ball game. But like I said, there's going to be a lot to work on. The running game is looking consistent still because of Jaden Turner and Jane Cook accounting for great plays and long runs, while the offense on the passing game still has their work cut out for it. Tykewell Fields is throwing some good plays, but he is 5 of 6 so far with 55 yards. His longest went to 23 for Delonte Helms early in the second half. Other than that, nothing else has really panned out. Just one catch to each receiver for Helms, DeVera, Hayek, Newton, and even Jane Turner, who was backed up on a 2-yard loss after making the catch.
Yeah, I mean, Fields has been accurate when he's taken shots. He hasn't taken that many shots in this game. Now, I don't know if that's a testament to how good the defense has been for Villanova, or more of a testament to the lack of chemistry right now, but I mean, you could argue it's a combination of both. 5 of 6, that's great. Take more shots. You figure with the accuracy, you'll be able to complete more and drive the ball down the field, but they just haven't taken those shots. They've been relying on the run game.
So there's going to be a lot to see what Peoria is going to have his offense do in the first half, because we've seen how many questionable play calls that he has drawn out so far over the last few seasons, and he is hoping that something can change in the second half. And if anything, we still believe that there is a chance. The offense just needs to get in tune. Tykewell Fields needs to see his receivers better. We haven't seen anything out of Malik Love yet. We've only seen one catch from 5 different receivers. So Malik Love still has yet his chance to get in. No Tyson Lawton, we presume that he has an injury. But as we said, that has not stopped Jaden Turner and Jaden Cook from being able to excel in the run game today.
Moments away from the second half kickoff. Stony Brook to get the ball back to start the second half. They botched their first kickoff opportunity that gave back-to-back possessions to Villanova after they saw a ball sort of go out of bounds, but then Villanova recovered to maintain possession. Wildcats with a 13-0 lead over the Seawolves right now. So they get set to kick it off with Cole Bunce. Back to return is Contessa and Niket for Stony Brook.
Sabah Niket looking like he'll be the one to receive, either him or Contessa, of course.
15 minutes on the clock. Bunce back to kick it away. Stony Brook trailing 13-0. So we get set to start half number 2. Jonah Karp, Zach Wilson with you on 90.1 FM, WUSB Stony Brook. Here comes Bunce. The kick is a short one, spiraling end over end, and it lands around the 20-yard line. Fair caught by Contessa, and that's where the Seawolves will take over on offense to start this second half, Zach.
Well, that was a similar kick to what Cole Bunce did after their game-opening drive, or touchdown that allowed them to recover that kick that wasn't apparently onside. But this time, Contessa decided to play the shorthand and make sure that Stony Brook does get the ball offensively this time.
For the Seawolves from their own 25.
It's spotted at the 25-yard line. First down 10. The Seawolves moving right to left on the field. Fields out of the shotgun. One man in the backfield. That's Turner. 2 receivers stacked up on the left side, one to the far right. Man in motion left to right. Fields hands it off to Turner, who stumbles out of the gate. No one touched him. Just stumbled on the handoff, and he's going to lose 2 yards.
He may have bumped when trying to get the ball from Fields. He may have bumped accidentally right into him. There may have been a little contact between both of them. It caused him to stumble and lose his footing. It's very unfortunate to start the second half.
Official ruling a loss of 3. Second down, 13 Ball on the 22-yard line. Fields lines up in between the hash marks. Takes the snap out of the gun, hands it off. Nope, fakes the handoff, throws to the right side. He's got Newton. Dodges one defender and is dropped around the 30-yard line. They're going to spot it at the 31. That's a gain of about 8 on the 2nd and 13 catch.
Well, that was a nice little catch made by Newton, being able to make the adjustment.
3rd and 4. For the Seagulls.
3rd down, 4 to go. 1 minute off the clock here in the second half. Fields lines up on the right hash mark. Out of the shotgun, takes a snap, drops back to pass. Short drop back, it's swatted down. And a quick 3 and out coming out of this second half kickoff. Not a great look to start the second half for the Stony Brook offense. The defense of the Wildcats holding strong to force a punt, trailing by 13.
So sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties, it would seem. Something was going on here at LaValle Stadium that we couldn't really explain. But as far as we're concerned, we are back on the air, so Stony Brook being forced to punt on 4th and 4 from their own 31-yard line.
Perhaps we have some ghosts here at LaValle Stadium that don't like connectivity. The punt is spiraling. It's a good one. It bounces right around the 30-yard line, and it rolls, and it's going to be stopped by Stony Brook at about the 23-yard line. Gregory Young puts his fingertips on it. So not great starting field position for the Wildcats, but they keep Stony Brook to a 3 and out to start this second half. 13:32 remaining in the third quarter. 13-0 Wildcats.
Well, it is kind of bizarre what we just experienced, but fortunate for Stony Brook that they were able to make a booming punt this time around. As we said, we usually expect Mitchell Wright to be in this position, but he's not today, and Mike Boyle doing it instead. But this freshman is looking pretty good.
Mitchell Wright was listed as questionable coming into this game. He's out with an injury that he suffered in practice. High snap taken down by Smith. He hands it off to Barley, who dodges along the right side and is brought out of bounds. Rather, that's Jackson getting the first touch of the second half. He didn't see the ball too often in that first half. Does have a touchdown.
That's because they've been using 4 running backs in that first half, and they may continue to use that. Seeing how Justin Covington is still trying to ease his way after coming back from that ACL injury. Of course, he's had over a year to get ready for that, so you would expect that he'd be completely healthy by now. But because every running back on Villanova has been looking sharp so far in the first half, they want to give each of them a fair shake.
Smith right hash mark out of the shotgun, takes the snap, fakes the handoff to Jackson, floats it. It's a flag on the field. He floats it to his tight end Gilroy, who dodges across the numbers and is brought out of bounds along the far sideline. This one might be coming back because of holding.
Yeah, we definitely see that. I could definitely feel it for myself. It's not holding, but it is a chop block. Or actually a legal block above the waist.
The officials.
It's actually even worse because a legal block above the waist, instead of 10, it's 15-yard penalty.
The officials having some mic troubles in this game. Everyone working out kinks. It's the first game of the season.
Well, anything is hard to do. Apparently, we still have remnants of 2020 here at LaValle Stadium.
Spring football season that feels like the winter.
Well, it feels like late November, all right. Like that last season never even left us.
Smith all alone in the backfield. Out of the shotgun, 4 receivers on the left side. Takes the snap, gives it off to Pringle, who gets across the middle of the field and is brought down in the secondary right around the 21-yard line on the 2nd and long catch.
Pringle's been having quite a day today. Counted 100 for 125 yards in the first half alone, and now he gets to 133 on his 8th catch. But let's see if that 15-yard penalty at Villanova could give Stony Brook the chance to get the defense off the field.
Pringle picks up 8. It's 3rd down and 10. Approaching the 12-minute mark here in the third quarter. Smith out of the shotgun, 1 man set to his right hip. 2 receivers on the left side, 1 to the far right. Smith takes the snap, drops back, flag on the field. Play stopped.
We are getting ourselves a false start penalty, and once again Villanova assessed with a penalty, with the foul, with a flag on the offense, pushing them back 5 yards. They've been getting penalized a lot more than Stony Brook has today, and yet Villanova is still the one with the lead.
The Wildcats racking up these penalties in this game.
It's 3rd and 15 from the 16.
So make that 3rd down and 15. All the way at the 16-yard line, back in Wildcats territory. Smith, again, all alone out of the backfield. Now he's joined by TD, who moves over to his left hip. Smith drops back to pass, floats it over the middle. It's caught by Hayek. Nowhere to go, immediately brought down after about 6-yard pickup.
Stony Brook allowing him to be wide open, but this is a lot better for them defensively because even when he did make that catch, he was nowhere near the first down. If you allow a receiver to be open but nowhere near the first down, that's one of the brightest spots that you can have so you can get yourself off the field.
4th down and 8 with 4 minutes off the clock in this 3rd quarter. Wildcats leading by 13. They're going to punt it away.
Saban Nekhet set to receive.
It's a short punt. Nekhet chases it down near the 40-yard line and then lets it go. It rolls around the 38, and that's where it stops. So at the 38-yard line in Seawolves territory is where Stony Brook is going to take over on offense, trailing by 2 possessions.
And that will send us to a media timeout.
With 10 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter, Stony Brook trailing by 13. We're going to step aside and come back. You're listening to Stony Brook football on the longtime home of the Seawolves, 90.1 FM, WUSB Stony Brook. Let's send it back to Ken and Matt in the studio.
Something happened here at the stadium.
What happened?
I think something happened here. I don't know what it was. I think it affected everybody else too.
Oh.
At least we're back on the air. We didn't even realize it, I think. Interesting.
The sun will come out. Send it back.
Text him.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Ken. On the first play for the Stony Brook offense, coming out of that punt, it's a sack. Fields dropped all the way back. Immediate pressure, couldn't get out of it, and he's dropped right around the 23-yard line. That's going to be a loss of about 8.
Well, he was immediately met with nowhere to go. Couldn't find any receiver down the field for a catch in any way. The offensive line could only do so much as to cover him.
They're going to spot the ball at the 28.
Didn't seem like too much of a loss at that point, if you ask me. Well, I guess it's just only about a 9-yard loss that they did say.
I guess they said his forward progress was stopped right around the 28-yard line. Still a loss of 9. 2nd and 19. The throw from Fields is caught and run out of bounds. Quick catch.
Isaiah Givens making the catch and tackled by Benford. And they'll set up 3rd and 12 at the 35-yard line.
Christian Benford has been everywhere. He's been the star on this Villanova defense. Had the interception in the first half as Stony Brook was putting a nice drive together. 9:45 remaining in the 3rd quarter. 13-0 Wildcats. Fields left hash mark out of the shotgun. Takes the low snap, drops back to pass. Pressure coming. Fields drops back again. Throws it over the middle. It's incomplete. He was looking for Helms. And he was in double coverage. Helms is irate, looking for a flag. He's not going to get a call.
He may have been contacted with before he had a chance to catch the ball, and I don't think I blame him at all for any of that. Stony Brook has been really itching today for fouls against Villanova, but not a lot have gone their way.
Another 3 and out for the Stony Brook offense. 4th down and 12. 9 minutes, 31 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Another punt upcoming.
Stony Brook offense still not getting any production down at all today. Being held scoreless for quite a long time.
Punt on the way from Boyle. This one's another spiral. He's had a couple of nice punts. It's out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Stony Brook is saying that someone touch it?
Somebody on Villanova pushed Stony Brook down after the ball went out of bounds, and again, there's no flag.
Yeah, this Stony Brook team right now on both sides of the ball is apoplectic on the sideline. 9 minutes, 25 seconds left in the third quarter. Villanova to get the ball back, leading by 2 possessions.
I tell you, like I said, I am not blaming Stony Brook at all today because there's just been too many plays that Villanova may have done illegally, and the refs are not penalizing them in any way at all. I don't know how much more that Chuck Priori is going to take of this before he could get called for unsportsmanlike after he continues to show off his anger to the refs.
Smith out of the shotgun, man in motion right to left. Smith takes the high snap, throws it over to Hayek, who makes the catch in stride across the numbers and out of bounds in between the lines. And it looks like that's a gain of about 7 on the 1st and 10 catch.
Chuck Priori has been with the team for 15 years, has been responsible for sending them to their 4 FCS playoff appearances. 3 of those 4 where they've gone into the second round. Just trying to get them going with the plays that he has shown them throughout the years.
Smith left hash mark out of the shotgun, takes the snap, fakes the handoff, floats it over the middle. It's complete downfield and run out of bounds. Hayek once again making 2 consecutive catches. This one goes for a first down. 1st and 10 upcoming, and they're across midfield.
Well, even with the coverage, Stony Brook is still showing some zone. Not too much man-on-man, and apparently that's allowing Villanova to have some wide-open receivers. Another good job for Daniel Smith. Couldn't tell whether or not Smith may have been out in the first half because of an injury that he had having Connor Watkins come in, but with Smith in, that offense for Villanova just continues to kick into high gear.
Smith out of the shotgun, right hash mark, takes the snap, looks downfield, drops all the way back, pressure coming, and he throws it out of bounds on the run. Smith was flushed out of the pocket immediately, rolled to his right. No one was downfield, so he just dumped it off out of bounds. 2nd down and 10.
Stony Brook being able to set up that immediate pressure, Dakar Edwards forcing that pressure on him. He was the one that was close to Daniel Smith.
13-0 Wildcats, 8:23 left in the third quarter. 2 receivers on the right side, 1 to the left, 2 in the backfield. Smith out of the shotgun. He takes the snap, hands it off up the middle to Covington, dodges 1 defender, and is brought down after a gain of about 4, trying to move him between the tackles. Covington hasn't gotten a lot of carries here in the second half. He was very, very effective in that first half. He's been the bell cow for this Villanova team. One of the best running backs in the conference.
Stony Brook has shown that they have some pretty star running backs too that are in their freshman years. So we'll expect years out of them too, and hopefully that can give the offense a boost. But right now Villanova is showing that Justin Covington, as you said, playing along with 3 other running backs so far.
3rd down and 6. The defense needs a big stop here. Smith out of the shotgun, takes the snap, fakes the handoff to Covington. Smith dodges 1 defender, throws it toward the end zone. It is nearly picked off, and it falls incomplete. Looking for Pringle, Smith was. A great pass defended downfield.
Well, that was one of the finest defensive plays that Pringle could have been able to make today, and that was a huge opportunity to force 4th down for Villanova, but they're going to go for it with 6 yards left, 6 yards away from the first down.
Well, that was the show we wanted, the Pringle versus Pringle show.
This is a very questionable call on Mark Ferrante's end to see if he fails, Stony Brook will get the ball right where they are.
4th down and 6. 7:34 left in the third quarter. Smith all alone. in the backfield. Takes a snap out of the shotgun, drops back to pass, floats it over the middle, incomplete, in and out of the hands of Hayek.
Jerron Hayek could not hold on to the catch completely. It was right within his grasp to make a clear catch. But I got a feeling that with the wind and this cold weather, he just couldn't have his hands play the part that he wanted to. So, Stony Brook once again forces a turnover on downs, and they'll get the ball right at their own 38-yard line.
Great coverage downfield by TJ Morrison. And the quarterback of this defense coming up big on that 4th down play. So Stony Brook will get the ball back on the turnover on downs. And they'll start at the 38-yard line, their own 38-yard line, with 7.5 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
They're still looking for answers. No score yet.
Fields out of the shotgun, takes a snap, pitches it off to his right, and it goes over
Jaden Turner.
To Turner, who was brought down after a gain of 5.
Turner getting a little dump from Fields, having the offensive lineman go a little far enough down the field legally so he can get the coverage he needs to get enough yardage. He gets about 4 on the play, getting across the 40.
Clock rolling to under 7 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. 13-0 Wildcats.
Stony Brook with a chance to get a touchdown to cut it to a 1-score game.
Still in their own territory, though. Fields right hash mark out of the shotgun. Fakes the handoff to Turner. Throws it over the middle to Helms. Helms has space down the middle of the field. Brought down. He was past the secondary. Brought down, saving a touchdown near the 35-yard line. Big play by the secondary to save that touchdown, but Stony Brook back in Wildcats territory.
Helms being the first Seawolf receiver to get more than 1 catch, and he already had that big one in the first half that went practically down the field right near the Villanova sideline. So Stony Brook back in Villanova territory, right at the 35-yard line. Once again with a chance to get a scoring play down, but they are still trying, but they still haven't gotten any opportunities yet.
The clock is stopped for the officials to get set. 6 minutes, 25 seconds.
Actually, it looks like they're going to call for a replay review because when Helms was tackled, I think that one of the helmets of Villanova made contact with Helms. So they may be looking at this to see whether or not that this was a targeting foul.
And if that's the case, Stony Brook would come out of that foul with great field position.
And that penalty would bring them right to the 20-yard line, just at the edge of the red zone. So Nowula Awapetu was responsible for making that tackle on Delonte Helms. So they're taking a timeout, but we're going to keep it here so we can judge ourselves whether or not, so we can see during this timeout if they make an apparent review soon. But it looks like this drive may be the answer that Stony Brook has been looking for all game long. Of course, we saw them have these opportunities in the first half, and it did end up with Tyquil Fields getting picked off and a missed field goal by the rookie Angelo Guglielmo.
I would have to imagine, Zach, that if Stony Brook is in a similar position where they have 4th down and medium in a spot right around the 30-yard line, that they would opt to go for it now that we're in the second half and they're trailing by 2 possessions instead of being in the first half and trailing by 1. Now, I'm not coaching a football team. I'm just in the booth, so my knowledge isn't as extensive as Chuck Priory's, but as we've seen so often in this game, he's opted to go a little bit more conservative. What that's led to, though, is 0 points on the scoreboard.
Well, it doesn't seem like he has changed his rhythm or anything. He still remains confident no matter what things look like. Right now, he's always trying to do the best to do what he believes in. After the time that he spent for like 15 years here and everything else that he's been through, he's an alumni from UAlbany, so he's always going to make those times that he was a football player with the Great Danes all the more special. So it looks like they're coming out of this review, and it seems like there was no targeting at all. So Stony Brook will remain where they are at the 35-yard line.
6:25 remaining in the 3rd quarter. 13-0 Wildcats. Stony Brook moving right to left. Fields lines up, left hash mark out of the shotgun. And we get the confirmation from the official. Zach was on it first.
That's because the teams were right where they were. they must have already heard from the refs that that was not going to be targeting. So safe for Abopetu to stay in the game.
1st and 10, Stony Brook. One receiver on each side. Fields out of the gun. 2 in the backfield. Fields takes the snap, fakes the handoff, throws it to the left side. Incomplete. Flag.
But I got a feeling that this is going to be a pass interference on Gibbons. Unless they're actually going to call this on Villanova. For a second, I thought Gibbons had the push-off, but they're saying that it was the defender who did. And that's going to push Stony Brook further and further in.
A lot of contact down the field. Gibbons had a one-on-one. Looked like with Benford. That's been the matchup here in the second half. Gibbons and Benford.
So penalty is called on Benford for pass interference. And we'll see whether or not they're going to make this a 15-yard penalty or give Stony Brook a first down at the spot of the foul. Looks like it's going to be at the spot of the foul.
It's a center each Hyundai first down.
So I think we're looking at the spot of the foul indeed, and Stony Brook is right at the 23-yard line.
6 minutes, 15 seconds left in the third quarter. 13-0 Wildcats over the Seawolves. Fields out of the shotgun with Turner in the backfield, set to his right hip. Fields calls an audible, looks to the sideline to get the second play. One receiver on each side, not a lot of weapons right now down the field for Stony Brook. Fields takes the snap, immediately looks downfield, drops back to pass, throws right side toward the end zone. It's incomplete. Great defensive stop by Denzel Williams down the field in coverage.
Khalil Newton nearly had a chance to go for a Randy Moss-like play after he adjusted his body and tried to make a catch while trying to extend out his hands against the defender.
2nd and 10 for the Seawolves.
Stony Brook will remain where they are at the 22-yard line.
It's been Newton and Williams on the right side of the field, Gibbons and Benford on the left side. Now Gibbons is on the sideline, back into the game, Delonte Helms, who has a couple of catches in this ball game. Fields back to pass, throws right side, looking for Newton. It's broken up again, but a flag on the field this time.
And Khalil Newton finally another chance. And even though he doesn't get the catch, he is able to draw a flag against Villanova. And it looks like this one is going to be putting Stony Brook inside the 5-yard line. What another unfortunate mistake pass interference-wise on the Wildcats.
The last pass interference call was against Benford. This one is going against Denzel Williams.
Same man who guarded Newton on the last play.
And so that's going to put Stony Brook
After the penalty.
inside the 10-yard line.
So it's going to be looking like it's a 15-yard penalty. At the very most, Stony Brook would be placed at the 7-yard line, which they are. It's not at the spot of the foul. It is just a 15-yard penalty, as it usually is.
From the Villanova 7.
So Stony Brook with their first and goal of the game, with a chance to get their first score of the game too.
1st and goal at the 7-yard line. Can Stony Brook get on the scoreboard? Fields out of the shotgun. He takes a snap. Fakes the handoff. Fields strides into the end zone. Wide open on the left side. Touchdown, Stony Brook.
Great run pass option by Tyquell Fields. He looked like he was going to hand it out to Jane Turner, who could have busted over the middle course. Up the middle, Villanova had a great defensive line structure, but Fields faking everybody out finally gives Stony Brook their first touchdown of 2021, and they have pulled themselves to within a score.
The Seawolves have cut this to a one-possession ball game. They trail 13-6. So a chance to tack on one more right here.
Guglielmello now with the extra point.
Snap, good. Kick, no good.
Guglielmello still has yet to convert on any points.
Is no good.
Missed that field goal from 40 yards out, and he misses the extra point right here. But is it me, or do I see another flag?
And there is another flag.
If it's another flag on Villanova, Guglielmello is going to get a reprieve.
Guglielmello shanked that wide to the left.
Penalties just continue to keep accounting against Villanova. So it is against the Wildcats, and now it's set up Angelo with another opportunity for a PAT.
Hey, let's do it again. Take two.
All right. Action.
The snap on its way. Kick is, this time, good.
And take two is successful. Use take two.
The score, Villanova 13.
It's 13-7. Stony Brook still trailing, but they're on the scoreboard, and it looks like momentum is back in their favor. 6 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
Well, Stony Brook, that's the drive that they desperately needed all game long. Able to capitalize on the many pass interference penalties against Villanova that put Stony Brook right where they wanted to be, and Tyquell Fields picking up that huge 7-yard touchdown run after figuring out the entire Villanova defense, well, almost the entire Villanova defense, and that right there is giving Stony Brook that light at the end of the tunnel that looks like it could set them up for another second half come from behind win against Villanova. As long as Stony Brook remains in this game, they only trail by 6 to the 5th best team in the nation. Stony Brook's defense has been playing a good hand so far, while the offense is, as we said, still looks like a work in progress, as you may as well pointed out.
Guglielmello back to kick it away for Stony Brook. They now trail by 1 possession. They entered the third quarter without any points on the scoreboard. 13-7. Stony Brook trails. Villanova to get the ball back. Back to return is Pringle. Guglielmello set to kick it right to left.
It's amazing to see how there's still a lot of time left for Stony Brook to remain in this game.
Boykin also back to return. The kick is end over end. It's fluttering. Boykin will take it at the 10-yard line. Now gets across the 20. Boykin dodges 1 defender. Nearing the 30-yard line. Brought down just shy of the 30. Right around the 27-yard line. And Villanova will take over at their own 27-yard line.
Well, there are a lot of things that you can see that Stony Brook needs to play with the special teams that they could possibly have better looks than they have been looking over the last few seasons. There has been some opportunities for their opponents to rush up well and capitalize on huge holes. Stony Brook, you can tell that the special teams coordinator tries and does the best that he can to keep Stony Brook and help limit their opponents to the starting field position.
4 receivers lined up on the left side. Now a man in motion left to right. That is Barley, who gets the handoff, gets across the 30, nears the 35 before he's brought down. Barley picks up 4 on the 1st and 10.
Barley was able to go on the perfect option to the right from Smith and was able to shake off 1 tackle from behind, it looked like, almost had a chance to be dragged. Was able to give him a good enough push for a good gain on the play.
Rather, it's a gain of 7. Barley stays in the game. He's in the backfield as Smith lines up out of the shotgun. 3 receivers on the left side. Man in motion right to left. Smith, right hash mark out of the gun. He takes the snap, immediately gives it off to Barley, and he's smothered and brought down.
McKay Smith with a huge tackle for a loss, sets back Villanova beyond the 30-yard line. What an amazing play defensively.
Smith overwhelming that offensive line, sniffing that run out perfectly. And that drops Villanova all the way back to 3rd and 9. Loss of 6.
McKay Smith cracking through that offensive line like butter. And I think we're getting ourselves a false start on Villanova too.
Well, this drive started so promisingly for the Wildcats, and they're going to be pushed back again.
Confidence is high for Stony Brook. It looks like momentum is starting to shift in their favor. Getting that touchdown looks like they could if the defense holds up, forcing Villanova to punt it away. We'll see what they do here on 3rd and 14.
Barley stays in the backfield. Smith right hash mark out of the shotgun. 2 receivers on each side. Smith takes the shotgun snap. Drops back to pass. Throws it over the middle. It's in and out of the hands. Incomplete. He was going down the field. Had a man open. Couldn't connect with him. And it's going to be 4th down and 14.
Well, Justin Burns almost had an opportunity himself to pick up the ball and set up Stony Brook well within Villanova territory, but fortunate enough that the receiver for Villanova, that was Jared Wolf, could not hold on to the ball as well. And so Villanova will be forced to punt. And Saban Nekhet set to return the ball just across the 40-yard line right near midfield.
Jared Wolf, often a punt return specialist. Here's the punt. It's spiraling. This is a great punt. Nekhet goes all the way back to his own 30 and falls on his backside.
but they will rule him down where he caught the ball and not where he fell down, which is just right at the 31-yard line. So Stony Brook is really starting to look like they're starting to make an improvement here. The offense continues to click. A touchdown and an extra point will put them up for the first time today.
After that first great offensive drive of the ball game that led to 7 on the scoreboard for Stony Brook, the defense making a great stand, helped out by some penalties. And with 4:16 remaining in the third quarter, Stony Brook has a chance to take the lead on this drive. They trail by 6.
It's amazing how there's still a lot of time left in this game between both teams.
Fields out of the shotgun. He takes the snap, immediately goes right, and he gets Helms open in the flat, who's brought down around the 35-yard line.
Quick thinking from Fields to find Helms like that. Being able to put up a little play-action pass, and Helms was able to cut the first down distance in half.
2nd down and 5. Ball placed at the 36. Under 4 to play in the third quarter.
Saw a lot of passes thrown by Fields on that last drive. Let's see if a little more running plays can happen here, as it was magnificent in the first half.
2 in the backfield. Fields takes the snap, floats it to the right side. He's got Turner open. Turner dodges one defender, gets into the secondary. Outside the numbers, brought down along the sideline. That's going to be a first down pickup for Turner and the Stony Brook offense.
Well, if you can't get Turner the ball to carry, may as well pass it to him. And he had just enough room and shook off one of the defenders to keep Stony Brook's drive going. But it looks like Jaden Turner is once again being checked out because he may be lingering with another injury. So Jaden Cook will come in this place.
Turner getting a breather on the sideline right now. Cook in the backfield. One receiver on each side as Fields lines up out of the shotgun right hash mark. Fields goes to the sideline to get his play. Now takes a snap, hands it off to Cook. Dodges one defender and tumbles down. Flag on the field. That might be a horse collar tackle.
I think we're actually looking at a penalty against. Is this maybe going against Villanova? I got a feeling that looks like, what are we looking at here? A face mask against Villanova.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw that penalty because it looked like Jaden Cook's face was being wrangled around with. And so a 15-yard penalty once again. And these penalties for Villanova, it's really starting to kill them.
It's a motif. The Wildcats still have the lead. They're up by 6, 13-7, 2:50 remaining in the third quarter.
But the more these penalties continue to wrangle up for Villanova, the more opportunities that Stony Brook's going to push themselves right back into this game, as they now have the ball across midfield at the Villanova 41-yard line.
Cook stays in the backfield. Fields out of the shotgun with a receiver on each side. Fields takes the snap, fakes the handoff to Cook, and the pressure comes. Brought down for a sack is Fields. Dropped all the way back around the 50-yard line.
Well, Fields tried to get a quick throw, but one of the receivers was well guarded, and so Fields had to rethink things, and unfortunately, that cost him as he was immediately met by 2 defenders.
Second time he's been brought down today. It's a loss of 7 on the sack. 2nd down and 17. Seawolves trailing by 6.
We haven't seen too much of Fields try to shift his way around other than that touchdown run he had from 7 yards out.
Turner back in the backfield. Fields in between the hash marks out of the gun. A receiver on each side. Fields takes a snap, throws it to the left side. He's got Gibbons who makes the catch around the 45-yard line. That gets back all those yardage you lost on the sack, but it's still going to be 3rd and long.
So we'll see what Stony Brook does here, because it looked like they had a good chance to get the ball down the field on a Villanova penalty, but it may be stalled if they can't work their way around the sack that Fields had. It is 3rd and 11, but a manageable catch that would get them short of a first down would probably give them an idea to go for it.
90 seconds left in the third quarter. 13-7 Wildcats. Fields left hash mark out of the shotgun. Turner in the backfield. Fields takes the snap, drops back to pass, throws it over the middle, nearly picked off, incomplete. Boy, Jalen Goodman was right there, had his hands on it, just couldn't reel in the interception. Stony Brook does catch a break, but they're going to have to punt it away.
Well, Fields does have some good accuracy. It's just his play calling that's still been pretty questionable, because he has thrown some errant throws that has allowed Villanova an opportunity to get some picks. They have one so far that came early in the first half, but no turnovers ever since then, other than the 2 turnovers on down that Stony Brook's defense forced on Villanova. But now Stony Brook will have to punt it away.
Boyle set to punt it away. And he does. It's a spiraling punt. Jared Wolf back to return. He catches a spiral around the 15-yard line. Not great starting field position for Villanova, but they do get the ball back, and they have the lead.
So that will send us to another immediate timeout. So, 1:07 to go before the end of the third quarter. Villanova back with the ball. Stony Brook trying to hold on to dear life. They trail the 5th-ranked Wildcats 13-7. Zach Wilson and Jonah Karp giving you Stony Brook football live on the longtime home of Stony Brook. Actually, hang on.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like that both teams are immediately back on the field for the next drive.
Zach is eager to get to the fourth quarter.
Well, we are almost there, just over a minute away.
67 seconds remaining in the third. Smith takes the snap and throws it into the dirt. He was looking for Barley, who's now looking for a flag. He's not going to get it. 2nd down and 10.
He thought that he was contacted by one of the Seawolves defenders. I think that may have been Gregory Young, who nearly had a hand on him. If Barley thinks that he was being treated unfairly on that one, he should continue to see how Stony Brook was having some complaints early in the game.
So Smith will line up out of the shotgun. With 2 in the backfield, a receiver on each side. Smith takes the high snap, fakes the handoff, rolls to his left, floats it to Barley, who's open in the left flat, knocks down one defender and scampers out of bounds. Nears the line to gain, will pick up about 8. But there is a penalty marker.
We'll see if whether or not this foul is called against Villanova. May be coming back. It looks like both teams are pushing themselves back. So they are calling an illegal formation against the Wildcats. So instead of a 3rd and 4, it'll be 2nd and 15. Again, the penalties.
57 seconds left in the third quarter. 13-7 Wildcats over the Seawolves here at LaValle Stadium on this chilly Saturday afternoon. 3 receivers lined up on the left side. Nobody on the right side. Barley still in the backfield with Smith out of the shotgun. The 4-3 defensive Stony Brook getting set. Handoff to Barley, and he's smothered along the 10-yard line. Picks up about 3 on the carry, but that's it on the 2nd and long, and it'll be 3rd and 15.
Well, Barley was hoping that one of his offensive linemen would be able to have enough of a coverage for him to open a hole, but there was just not enough to stop the likes of Gregory Young and McKay Smith. So it's going to set up a 3rd and long, and it looks like we'll see whether or not, as we're at 13 seconds, if Villanova decides to let this wind down to the end of the third quarter, and it looks like they are.
Everyone starts to head to the sideline. That's going to wrap up the third quarter. We head to the fourth with a 1-possession ball game on our hands here at LaValle Stadium. It's 13-7 Wildcats, but a 3rd and long coming up for Villanova. Can the Seawolves make a big stop on defense? Find out when we return. You're listening to Stony Brook football on the longtime home of the Seawolves, 90.1 FM, WUSB Stony Brook. Let's send it back to the studio with Ken and Matt.
Wow.
Getting ready for the fourth quarter. Jonah Karp and Zach Wilson with you here at LaValle Stadium, where Stony Brook football trails by 6 against the Villanova Wildcats. The Wildcats have only picked up one victory in the last 4 meetings with these Stony Brook Seawolves. A chance to pull out victory number 2 here at LaValle Stadium. But a big 3rd and long coming up. It's 3rd down and 13 with the ball deep in Wildcats territory. Villanova with possession on offense.
Let's see if Stony Brook may look like they're going to go for a zone here, but if I were them, you gotta try up with a man-to-man, because this is a long upcoming pass for Daniel Smith. You want to pressure him as well to force him to have to throw it away incomplete, or maybe even force a turnover. Stony Brook has not gotten a fumble or an interception yet on the defensive side.
3 receivers lined up on the left side. Barley in the backfield. Smith right hash mark out of the shotgun. Smith with a 3rd and 13. Takes the snap, fakes the handoff, drops back to pass. Runs up the middle, floats it over the middle, and it's incomplete. Falls harmlessly. He was looking for Jaquan Allen, who had open space in between the hash marks near the 30-yard line, but it floats incomplete, 4th down and 13.
And there's that pressure right there that I was talking about. Daniel Smith had nowhere to go, and he was about to get sacked. Able to get the ball away, and there was a receiver nearby, Hayak, who had a chance to go on it, but being able to force it onto the ground. Stony Brook now with the chance to get the ball back and another opportunity to get the lead.
Naked, deep for Stony Brook.
So Stony Brook, who's trailing by 6, will get the ball back. Here comes the punt. It's a short punt. And now it bounces. It takes a favorable bounce for Villanova. It rolls across the 40. This is actually a long punt now. Across the 35. It's going to be stopped at the 34-yard line. And that's where Stony Brook will take over, moving left to right now.
It was a good punt as they were able to find some hopefulness with being able to force Stony Brook to have to not get it right near midfield. They are 16 yards away for that. So 20 seconds into the fourth quarter, Stony Brook will get possession at their own 34-yard line.
The Wildcats held off the scoreboard in the 3rd quarter. Stony Brook was held off the scoreboard for the entire first half. They've since cut it to a 6-point ball game. Fields out of the shotgun, left hash mark, man in motion. The handoff goes to Turner. He has some space across the right side. Gets along the sideline, dropped around the 41-yard line, run out of bounds. And a good chunk pickup by Turner on that 1st and 10 carry.
Turner continuing to show off his speed, able to get enough to fight off the tacklers long enough to get a good favorable gain. As he said right there, 6 yards to gain on the play, sets him up right at the 40-yard line.
Helms into the ball game as a receiver. Cook in as a running back. He lines up to Fields' left hip. Fields takes the shotgun snap, fakes the handoff to Cook, floats it to the left side. It's knocked incomplete. He was looking for Gibbons once again along the left side. And good coverage down the field makes it 3rd and 4.
Well, that was tight coverage that Gibbons was being tightly contested with. Christian Benford with that deflection. He's been all over the place today. So we'll see what Tyquil Fields decides to do here, because I would imagine this would be a chance there to not only have an opportunity to pass it, but run with it himself if he has enough space.
Fields in between the hash marks out of the shotgun, takes the snap, hands it off to Turner, runs up the middle in between the tackles, nears the line to gain, but he's not going to get enough. Maybe picked up 3, but that was it.
Oh, they is a yard short, so we'll see if the Seawolves decide to go for it. I don't see the punting unit coming out yet.
Let's see. It all depends on the spot, too.
It looks like the refs are going to rule.
Yeah, they're going to say it's 4th down. He's about a yard short.
And are we seeing the punting unit? Yes, we are. Stony Brook does not want to take this up. Stony Brook does not want to try a 4th and 1 play. Can't tell whether or not I'm hearing any chance that they should be going for it. I mean, I would imagine this would have been a good opportunity for either Jaden Cook or Jaden Turner to rush it up the middle. They would have had a good chance of getting a 1st down.
Well, you're still in your own territory around the 43-yard line. It would be risky.
Well, the fact that you haven't really gotten anything much in the first half.
Boyle punts it away. Wolf back to return, calls for the fair catch, and he catches it at the 30. Villanova back on offense. They'll take over at the 30-yard line, their own 30, with 12:54 remaining in the fourth quarter. 13-7. Villanova with the lead over Stony Brook here at LaValle Stadium.
Some interesting game we got here. It's really going down to the wire. Villanova started off with a first 13 points of this game, the 2 touchdowns they had in the first half. And now Stony Brook has held the Wildcats scoreless in the second half.
Daniel Smith coming off one of the best performances for a quarterback in program history a season ago. One of the big reasons why Villanova is ranked 5th entering this season. Smith back at quarterback, out of the shotgun, takes the snap, gives it off to TD, who has some running space along the right side, but is dropped near the line of scrimmage. Will actually be dropped shy of the line of scrimmage.
Augie Contressa with the initial tackle, being able to force his momentum away from the 30-yard line and forces a 1-yard loss on the play.
Contressa anchors the linebacking crew. He's sort of the rover. He's the 5th guy in this 4-2-5 defense. Second down and 11. Smith back out of the shotgun. He takes a snap, fakes the handoff, drops back to pass, pump fakes, now floats it left side. He's got Pringle, and it's out of bounds.
Well, this time this time between him and Jabari Reddick, it was just way out of that. It's just way far away from Pringle to have a chance at the catch. Nice little effort by Smith to throw it deep down the field like that, but once again, Villanova faces a 3rd and long.
3rd down and 11. Off that incomplete pass, clock stopped at 12:12, 13-7 remaining.
How many more times?
13-7 Wildcats. Smith back out of the shotgun.
These are crazy nail biters that Stony Brook and Villanova have engaged with over the last few years.
Smith takes the shotgun snap, quickly drops back, floats it over the middle. It's complete to TD, has running space, has a first down along the right sideline, carrying defenders with him across the 40, inside Stony Brook territory, then brought down at the 38-yard line. Wow.
Stony Brook practically had Daniel Smith's number, but Smith decided to make another call, and that's where TD was able to pick up.
And a penalty called against the Stony Brook defense will tack on another 15 yards.
I wasn't sure about that. I didn't see any flags on the field at all, which is very weird. Very weird to understand.
TD Iodurajaye with the biggest play of the game on offense for Villanova. 11:59 remaining in the fourth quarter. The Wildcats in prime position to tack on some insurance. And off the penalty, the ball is placed at the 23-yard line as the Wildcats are knocking on the door of the red zone once again.
Touchdown here would be very big for Villanova to have a better chance to pull away with the win.
Iodurajaye back in the backfield. He gets the handoff, drifts to the right side, now goes up the middle and is brought down near the 20-yard line. Gains about 3 on the 1st and 10 carry.
Well, he really is trying to be one tough nail. Saw him how he got a touchdown against Stony Brook last season, back in October of 2019. That made it a 14-7 lead for Villanova. That gave them their first lead of the game. It's quite a contest if you remember it.
Iodurajaye stays in the backfield. 3 receivers lined up. Smith out of the shotgun. Takes a snap, fakes the handoff, drops back, throws it to the left side toward the end zone. It's incomplete.
It's just overthrown again. Jaquan Allen had no chance to make a catch on it.
3rd down and 8. Ball at the 21-yard line. 13-7 Wildcats. Smith looks to the sideline to get his play as the offense sets back up. Iodurajaye now lined up as a receiver on the far right. Pringle alongside him on the right side. Allen on the left side with Bacon, or Haken rather.
Bacon,
getting hungry.
So 3rd and 8 coming up.
Empty backfield. Smith out of the shotgun. Smith takes the snap, looks downfield, drops back to pass, throws it over the middle. There was contact. Haken falls to the ground. No flags on the field. That's going to force a 4th down.
I can't see whether or not Mark Ferrante is looking a little angry with that, but I don't see his reaction. But instead of going for it, Villanova will take the safe side and decide to go for a field goal. They haven't gotten one yet today. They were 0 of 1 after Cole Bunce missed one. So he'll try it again, make it a critical 2-score game.
Ball's at the 21-yard line.
Cole Bunce to attempt a
10:54 remaining in the 4th quarter. This could make it a 2-possession game. The kick is high toward the uprights. It's good. And it does make it a 2-possession game. 16-7, a 9-point ball game. Wildcats leading with 11 minutes to go in the 4th quarter.
So it was all about touchdowns throughout the first 3 scores of this game were all about touchdowns, and now now Villanova breaks it by getting a field goal. So that will send us to immediate timeout.
With 10:51 remaining in the 4th quarter, the Wildcats have tacked on more insurance. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Stony Brook football on the longtime home of the Seawolves, 90.1 FM, WUSB Stony Brook. Back to the studio.
County's own Level 1 Trauma Center for adults and children. Stony Brook Medicine, the best ideas in medicine.
Oh, we don't want to do that. Go for some soup and hot chocolate right now.
All right, Rutgers wins.
Bunce to kick off. Second, and Kutressa.
Back.
I got him. Come on.
Thanks, guys. Ken and Matt doing a great job back in studio. Thanks for joining us on 90.1 FM, WUSB Stony Brook. Thank you for spending your Saturday afternoon with us, listening to some Stony Brook football. First game of the season, they trail by 2 possessions, 16-7. Cole Bunce of the Wildcats kicks it away. It's an end-over-end good kick. Taken, it's bobbled by Neckett, and he picks it up around the 5-yard line. Boy, that was almost a botch by Neckett.
He didn't need another botched after I've seen anything like that. But luckily enough that Cincy was able to retain it, stays with a fair catch, and puts Stony Brook. Wait, they're putting Stony Brook deep in their own territory. I mean,
he caught it when he eventually picked it up around the 5-yard line. They haven't spotted it just yet. We're going to get the official spot in a moment. 10 minutes, 51 seconds left in the 4th quarter.
They got them at the 4-yard line. That's really odd. He tried to call for a fair catch, but maybe because of that fumble that he can only get where he called it.
From their own 4.
Yes,
So that's where Stony Brook will start on offense. Fields in his own end zone. Takes the snap, hands it off to Cook on the left side, and he gets a couple of yards before being brought down inside the tackles.
There is a flag now.
And there is another flag on the field. Is that going to be a false start? It is.
Things are getting a little out of hand for Stony Brook, and now somebody is down. Maybe Jaden Cook.
Well, that's going to push Stony Brook back another 2 yards or so. About 6 seconds off the clock to start this drive as the trainers are looking at the injury on the field. We don't know how long this is going to take, but Zach, do you want to keep it here? We might as well.
I guess we could as well do that, and probably may as well show our respect to the former Stony Brook men's basketball head coach Steve Pico, leading the Rutgers Scarlet Knights to a 78-70 overtime win against Minnesota, putting them at an even 500 record in the Big Ten, going 15-10. And after they had a chance to go to the NCAA tournament last year after it was canceled due to COVID, their chances of going back in again could be big.
It was, in fact, Jaden Cook, who comes up not putting any pressure on his left leg. Heads to the sideline, so that'll likely mean we're going to see a lot more Jaden Turner. 16-7 is the score. Handoff is up the middle, and it's going to be stopped for about no gain.
Stony Brook just trying to do some runs so they don't worry about Tyrell Fields getting sacked in the end zone for a safety. The fact is, things are starting to get a little hard for them. Haven't gotten anything down ever since that touchdown. Had some opportunities to capitalize and capitalize and take the lead for the first time today, but ever since then, the offense is still not getting themselves into the right rhythm.
Fields out of the shotgun, takes a snap, pressure coming, floats it left side, and it's caught. Reeled in by Newton.
I think that Tyrell Fields had to throw that ball away in desperation, and very fortunate that Khalil Newton got more than he wanted. Khalil Newton able to make that catch. It could have been a chance for Villanova to intercept the ball, but now Stony Brook gets the ball at the 22-yard line and extends the drive.
First down pickup, 1st and 10 at the 22. Stony Brook still trailing by 2 possessions. They need to push this ball down the field. Fields takes the shotgun snap, drops back to pass, throws it to the right sideline, and it's broken up. Looking for Gibbons along the right sideline. Great pass defended by Denzel Williams. That's been a matchup to watch.
Some type of contest that we've been seeing between those wide receivers and those cornerbacks. It does stop the clock, giving Stony Brook a chance. They need to get the off, but they're still trying to find a way to get the offense gelling, because things have, as I said, the offense still looking to find ways to improve, and there have been opportunities, but who knows if this cold weather is hindering their success.
Fields out of the gun, 3 receivers to his right. Fields takes the snap, hands it off to Turner up. No, Fields keeps it. Fields across the 35-yard line, slides near the 40, picks up the first down, faked me out. Great play by Fields in the Stony Brook offense to continue to push this ball down the field as we approach the 9-minute mark here in the 4th quarter.
Well, how about that? Fields finally making one of those rare plays, running it up the middle himself. He had that when he had that touchdown for Stony Brook, and it's been quite a fascinating thing to watch out of him over the last 2 seasons.
Roland Dempster is a running back, lines up to Fields' left hip. Fields takes the snap, looks downfield, throws it over the middle. It's complete near the 40-yard line, brought down, gain of a few.
Peter McKenzie with the reception.
16-7 with 8.5 remaining in the 4th quarter.
Well, these catches up the middle could be fine, but you're down by 2 scores, so maybe a little more sense of urgency to try and hurry things up.
Seawolves going no huddle, with the clock still winding down. Fields left hash mark out of the shotgun, 3 receivers on the right side. Dempster still in the backfield. Fields takes the snap, drops back to pass. Pressure comes, rolls out of the pocket, throws it to the right sideline. It's caught. It's complete down the field. Great catch and a first down pickup for Stony Brook.
Lucas Merluzzi with the reception. Fields also looking to throw that ball away, and Merluzzi finding himself wide open, nobody covering him, and the Seawolves get the ball right at midfield.
First catch of the day for Merluzzi. Everyone getting some touches here in the 4th quarter. Fields all alone in the backfield, takes the snap, and he hands it off to Dempster, who has some running space across the 50, brought down. Picks up about 3 on the 1st and 10 carry.
Roland Dempster had a role on the defense last season. Now he switched to the running back role. Jaden playing with Jaden Turner and Jaden Cook. As we saw Cook go down with that injury, we'll see if Jaden Turner eventually decides to come back. Haven't seen him come back yet either. You want those running backs to come back and give your team a chance to get back in this game. I am seeing Jaden Cook running around the sidelines.
Fields takes a snap, fakes the handoff, throws it over the middle. It's broken up. Incomplete. He was looking down the field for DeVera, who has a catch in this game, and couldn't complete it with the tight end. 3rd down and 8.
Well, these passes have been broken up by Villanova so often today. If anything, Fields needs to look for better receivers that could find themselves with a little more separation and make those better catches.
Fields out of the shotgun. 3 receivers on the right side, 1 to the left. Ball at the 48-yard line in Wildcats territory. Fields takes the snap, throws it left sideline, has a man. There is contact. It doesn't look like there's a flag on the field. Couldn't connect with Newton down the field, and it's going to be 4th down.
And they're going to bring the punting unit out to the field. I am not sure about this. You're down 2 scores, 7:13 left to go. You give back the ball. They're going to allow more time to milk the clock, and this doesn't. I don't know if this seems like a very effective idea on Chuck Priori's end.
Wildcats fresh off a drive where they ended in a field goal. They lead by 9, 7:13 remaining in the 4th quarter. As Boyle gets set to punt it away, and Wolf is back to return it. Boyle kicks it, spiral. Wolf lets it go, takes a high bounce near the 20-yard line, and it rolls and stops at the 20-yard line.
Well, another good kick by Boyle, able to force Villanova to have to get it deep in their own end.
Ball is down at the 20.
7:02 remaining in the 4th quarter, 16-7 Wildcats.
And we're still sticking with it. There's no media timeout again, as the Stony Brook defense is on the field immediately, and the offense will come on for Villanova.
Well, this Seawolves defense has looked awfully good in this game. They've done their job for the most part against this Villanova offense that can score in bunches and has a lot of different weapons. But Daniel Smith looking fairly pedestrian today. Just a 50% completion percentage.
Stony Brook has to force a turnover on this drive.
Smith takes the snap and hands it off to Barley, who has some space up the middle, breaks free into the secondary, and is dropped after a 25-yard pickup near the 45-yard line. Barley with a big play in space, a big run to begin this drive, and with every big play and every chance that Villanova has to extend this lead, you question that punting decision. Smith out of the gun, movement on the line. That might be offsides on Stony Brook. We'll see who moved first. Awaiting the call from the officials. They're discussing it right now. It's 1st down and 10 at the moment for Villanova. And it was Stony Brook that jumped on defense. Casey Williams, a little too anxious on the line of scrimmage. 1st down and 5, 6:33 remaining. Ball at the 45-yard line, still in Wildcats territory. Smith out of the shotgun, 3 receivers on the left side. Smith takes the snap, pitches it off to Barley, right side. Slips out of 1 tackle, gets near the 50, and that's where he's dropped, right near the 50-yard line. That's near the line to gain. They haven't moved the chains just yet. We'll see where the spot is and what the direction is.
I saw a little extracurricular activity from McKay Smith on the Villanova sideline. A little heated up there.
We're going to mark him a yard short. About a half-yard short.
2nd and 1 for Villanova.
2nd down and 1. 5:40 remaining.
Time is not on Stony Brook's side. Villanova having a lot of opportunities to milk the clock, and another big chance here they get a 1st down here.
Smith out of the shotgun, takes the high snap, gives it off to Barley, plunges forward up the middle, picks up the 1st down and a little bit more, gain of about 4. And Villanova once again in Stony Brook territory, leading by 2 possessions.
Stony Brook missing a lot of opportunities offensively today. Tyquil Fields could not be completely on par, and no sign of Malik Love in this game either. Makes you wonder what's up with his situation if he has an injury too.
Both teams still with all 3 of their timeouts. But Villanova with a good opportunity to milk a lot of this clock. Smith out of the shotgun, man in motion right to left. Smith takes the snap and hands it off. This time it's to Covington, who's spun down near the line of scrimmage, maybe a loss of 1.
Stony Brook able to force that tackle right there. Nothing, no way to move in any way.
But with every handoff, comes more time off the clock. 4:35 remaining in the fourth quarter. 16-7 Wildcats. Second down and 11. Smith now all alone in the backfield. Lines up out of the shotgun. Covington in motion left to right. Smith fakes the handoff. It's a keeper. Smith up the middle. Drop near the line of scrimmage. That might be another loss of 1 or so.
See whether or not Stony Brook starts thinking about going for timeouts, because we are at the 4-minute mark, and it looks like they may not be able to come back this time and win.
Yeah, this next play is going to take us under 3 minutes. 16-7 Wildcats, and now we're under 3 minutes. Still 20 seconds left on the play clock. Smith taking his time with the Wildcats offense. 3rd down and 12. Ball at the 49-yard line in Seawolves territory. Smith all alone in the backfield. Man in motion right to left on the field. Smith takes the shotgun snap, fakes the pitch, and throws it incomplete in and out of the hands of Pringle.
Well, that was a pretty good screen pass that he had set up, and had he caught that, he would have gone far. But fortunately for Stony Brook, it does preserve the clock, but there's 3:39 left to go. And we'll see how Villanova is able to punt this one away, and Sabat-Netcat thinks about trying to return it if he can. Because at this point, you either try or you think.
Netcat, the lone man back to return. 4th down and 12 with the ball at the 49-yard line in Seawolves territory. 3:39 remaining in the fourth quarter. Punt is blocked. Ball is rolling near the 30, picked up by Stony Brook and run out of bounds. A heads-up special team play.
Are you kidding me? That was some freaking blocked punt if I ever saw one myself. Special teams coming through. Time is winding down, but who knows what Stony Brook is capable of here, and they still have a full set of timeouts.
It was O'Neal Stanberry with the big-time defensive play for Stony Brook to give them possession with a 1st down and 10 upcoming and 3:29 remaining.
Well, now set up immediately inside the red zone, Stony Brook is. Jane Cook in the backfield.
At the 19-yard line, Fields takes the snap. Fields keeps it, rolls to his right, and is run out of bounds across the 15.
His way of being able to preserve time for Stony Brook if they can. Stops the clock at 3:24, and as long as it doesn't continue afterwards, which it is, so now Stony Brook may have to hurry.
2nd down and 4, pickup of 6 on the 1st and 10 keeper.
They got to hurry this up here. They're at the 3-minute mark.
Cook in the backfield. Fields lines up out of the shotgun, right hash mark. 2 receivers stacked up on the left side. Fields takes the snap, fakes the handoff, looks downfield. Pressure coming. Fields rolls to his right, throws it out of bounds.
When there was nobody available, he had to find some way to get it out there, and that does preserve the clock again, but it's down to 2:58. 3rd down coming. This is 4 down. This is 4 down territory, and Stony Brook really knows it.
Stony Brook trails by 9.
But
with 2 minutes and 58 seconds left.
But here's an interesting thing. You can still get a field goal and make this a 1-score game. So you think they might think about that? They have to go if it's 4th down here?
I don't think so.
Well, let's see what happens. First, get the touchdown.
Cook in the backfield. Fields out of the shotgun. 3 receivers on the left side. Fields takes the snap, looks to his left. Pressure comes, throws it toward the end zone. It's incomplete, but a flag.
Helms throwing that in the end zone, and Stony Brook getting the ball at the 2-yard line extends the drive. Oh my God, it happens again to Villanova for committing a pass interference penalty. And that's what they're going to say, it looks like. Refs are going to talk this one over.
That was on 3rd down. It was 3rd and 4. And that's a costly penalty for Villanova. First down, Stony Brook. First and goal.
2:52 left to go, and Stony Brook still has a full set of timeouts. They're at the 2-yard line, and one play could make this a one-score game.
Cook in the backfield. Fields lines up, right hash mark out of the shotgun. 2 receivers spread out to the left side. Timeout called.
Well, it seems that Fields didn't have the position of the players that he wanted, so he had no choice, and it looked like the play clock was winding down as well. So he's down to 2 timeouts, but we'll see how that's going to affect the rest of this game, because we need to hurry up and whip up some magic, because there's still a lot of chances for Stony Brook to come back into this game, just like they did last season. It's not out of reach once again from the looks of it. Of course, this time they can't. Of course, this time it isn't a one-score game. This is, of course, a 2-score game. No matter what they do, they can't tie it up in any capacity here. They'll have to give the ball back to Villanova, but with 2 timeouts left to go, we'll see what happens. Should Stony Brook get a touchdown and give the ball back to them eventually?
Well, when these teams meet, they have a knack for close games.
It's only the first 2 games that haven't been close against these teams.
Fields lines up out of the shotgun, right hash mark, takes the snap, hands it off to Cook, up the gut, into the end zone for a touchdown.
And bring that in for Jaden Cook's first career touchdown here at Stony Brook. And the Stony Brook Seawolves have come back, and they only trail by 3 pending this extra point, which could be very huge, because if Guglielmo makes it, should Stony Brook get the ball back again, once again another opportunity for them. Once again down, same thing, went down by 2 last season, got the ball back with a little time left, managed to get the ball down the field enough for a game-winning field goal for Nick Courtney. Let's see if Guglielmo can make it, but we're going to have to wait a bit because there is an injury timeout on Villanova's side.
Now, why wouldn't you go for 2 here, Zach?
Because I don't think that's what you do, because why go for 2? It makes no difference if you go for 2 or kick the extra point. You're better off going for that extra point, because if you get the ball back and get that go-ahead field goal, that is exactly it. It's better to get a PAT than a 2-pointer.
Well, Guglielmo did hit his lone extra point opportunity, albeit after a penalty. He did shank the first opportunity that was then waved off. So on the take 2 try, he connected in between the uprights and has his second opportunity to now make it a 2-point ball game with 2:49 remaining.
This would be a very huge extra point should he make it. He got it before after his first PAT attempt was blocked, but then a penalty gave him the successful conversion on the PAT the second time.
Another flag. Snap, hold, kick is through the uprights and good. But we're going to do it again.
Calling a false start on Stony Brook. Shame Guglielmo did convert on the PAT. So now he's going to have to do it again. Just from 5 yards out longer.
Well, he has the distance.
He couldn't connect on a 40-yard field goal early in this game, and had he done that, and Stony Brook would be the ones ahead. Well, actually, this would be a tie game right now, pending the extra point. Let's see if Guglielmo can try and do it again a second time.
Well, let's do it again.
Take 2 again.
Snap, high snap, hold, kick, up, and no good.
The extra point is still good.
So it remains a 3-point ball game, 16-13 with 2 minutes and 49 seconds remaining.
So this is still a real big nail biter. And if Stony Brook does get the ball back with some time and forces a field goal, we could be looking at overtime, and that's just going to make things a lot more fun. Stony Brook needs to step up defensively like they did last season after they capitalized on Mark Ferrante's mistake. When Villanova had the ball last season at Villanova against Stony Brook, there was a penalty on the offense that allowed time to be conserved for Stony Brook to get the ball back and have some time to go down the field and set up a game-winning field goal for Nick Courtney. But of course, in this situation for Stony Brook, they can only tie the game with a field goal. And we'll see if Mark Ferrante has learned anything from last time. And that thing he has to learn is know the rules, because he did not know at that time that the penalty on Villanova while they were on the drive offensively would have led to time being conserved with the clock stopped. He did not know that at all. Big mental error on his part, but he should know it this time. Deja vu. I'm telling you, it's deja vu, only this time we're seeing more defense than offense in this game.
Well, overtime games are always fun. They're more fun when you could feel your toes. 2 minutes and 49 seconds left. 13-16. Wildcats have the lead. They're about to get the ball back. Guglielmo is almost set to kick it away.
So they're going to do an onside kick here. It's just a little.
I don't know why.
Well, I understand they want to get the ball back, but I don't see any harm in going for the normal kick because you still got 2 timeouts. And if you do a good job defensively, you'll get the ball back with plenty of time. But they'll look for the onside kick anyway.
Well, here it is.
A nice, good boop.
Yeah, it's picked up immediately. Now in space across the 20 along the sideline. Christian Benford has the ball in his grip, and he's inside the red zone of Stony Brook.
And I guess at this rate, he should have gone for the normal kick because it seemed like Priori once again didn't seem to have shown a lot of optimism with his defense, like he usually does late in the first half when you got over 2 minutes to go and a full set of timeouts, but instead he'll go run the ball, and right here he may have just said, I don't know what I'm thinking about the defense right here, because this, as I said, this was practically a very questionable call. I mean, like, with 2:45 to go and 2 timeouts left, like I said, had you played your cards perfectly defensively, you could have gotten the ball back probably around the 2-minute mark, and that would have given you plenty of time.
Well, Benford caught that cleanly off the bounce, and
even so,
great recovery.
Wildcats are in field goal range, but should they milk the clock by being able to force the last 2 timeouts on Stony Brook and get a first down, they may win this game, even with a touchdown if they can. And it's not out of reach, too, either.
Ball at the 15-yard line. 16-13, Wildcats with the lead and with the ball. Smith getting his team set. Play clock not rolling just yet, coming out of this quick timeout.
You got to give credit to Stony Brook and what their defense has been able to supply against Villanova's offense today. Usually a strong full bunch, but Stony Brook has kept themselves in check against the 5th best team in the nation, so this may not be as bad of a season as you think. Of course, we've seen a lot more opportunities for Stony Brook to capitalize on multiple opportunities, and they'd be leading right now. Guglielmo had made that PAT and that field goal early in the game. Imagine how differently things would have played out.
Missed opportunities you can always turn to in losses, miscues, opportunities that if they had gone differently, what could have been. And with 2 minutes, 45 seconds remaining, listen, stranger things have happened. Stony Brook not out of the woods just yet. The Wildcats have the lead and the ball inside the red zone. Another timeout called.
Is this a timeout? Because I think the refs may be looking at a replay. I think they're looking at a replay review. I can't tell what exactly they're looking at.
Well, there was a pause in the action coming out of that onside kick.
You don't think
and the players returned to the field and then went back to their respective sidelines. So, I mean, there's a media timeout right now, and I guess whatever timeout there was has now been extended, would be my guess.
I don't know if they're checking out whether or not like how much time is left. I mean, like, I don't know. Was there any penalty on either side?
No.
I mean, I don't see what the penalty would be. I mean, for Stony Brook, if anything, the logical one would have been that the ball didn't make it 10 yards. But the recovery was made by Villanova. So does that really matter then?
Well, the official ruling is an official review, so we await to see what the officials are actually reviewing. Perhaps they're reviewing the spot.
So
we don't know. We haven't gotten word yet. It's all speculation. 2 minutes, 45 seconds left in the fourth quarter. 16-13 is the score. The Wildcats have the ball inside the red zone. A chance to tack on some late insurance. to make this a 2-possession ball game late in this contest.
Stony Brook will be charged a timeout.
Stony Brook charged for a timeout.
Did Chuck Priori challenge something?
May have challenged that it was a fair catch, but
After review, first and 10 for Villanova from the Stony
so
Brook 15.
Stony Brook loses another timeout, and that was another big blow to try and have a chance to milk the clock and get the ball back with enough time.
That could be costly.
Touchdown.
First and 10 with the ball at the 15-yard line. Covington in the backfield. Smith out of the shotgun, left hash mark.
Touchdown here could end the game. Give Villanova that win to start the season. They head home against Rhode Island next week, while Stony Brook goes on the road to Delaware.
Smith out of the shotgun, takes the snap. It's a QB keeper, runs across the 15-yard line outside the numbers, brought down after a gain of about 3 on that first and 10 carry.
He was and I think Smith was pancaked. Smith decided to take that ball himself. A little risky if he had lost it. We have a media timeout on Stony Brook's end.
Player down for Stony Brook. 2:33 remaining. They're going to say it's a gain of 1. So second down and 9 coming up for Villanova.
Well, we're at the 2.5 mark, so with this injury timeout, do you think that this will cost Stony Brook a timeout? Because if it doesn't, then that may give some chance for them to still. I mean, like, with being able to force a field goal, I don't see any reason why Stony Brook wouldn't be able to come back in this game. But like I said, you need time back on your side. Chuck Priori hasn't been really utilizing time too much today.
Yeah, I don't know if this will cost Stony Brook a timeout. If it does, they only have 1 timeout remaining, so they wouldn't be able to stop the clock, and that would pretty much seal it.
And like I said, 1 touchdown from Villanova, it's going to be enough to end it. Couldn't tell who the player was that fell down for Stony Brook. It's weird to see why Malik Love's not in the game. It may be because he did, of course, have an injury. It is a shame because he would have been a star wide receiver for the team this season.
2:33 left. All the trainers out on the field to check on the injured Seawolf. Well, you can go back and question a lot of the calls that were made on the field, but a lot of the penalties have been in favor of Stony Brook and not in favor of Villanova.
So Justin Burns was the one who fell down. He's able to get back on his feet, getting a little help. So that'll put the game back into action.
With 2:33 remaining in the fourth quarter. 16-13. Wildcats back in the red zone at the 14-yard line. Second down and 9. Smith out of the shotgun, lines up on the left hash mark with Covington to his right hip. Daniel Smith with the play clock winding down. Just waiting. Heck, the lone receiver on the left side. Pringle on the right side.
They're really milking the shot clock big time.
Play clock now down to 7. Smith out of the shotgun. Takes the snap, bobbles it briefly, hands it off to Covington, who's smothered. That's sniffed out beautifully by the defense of Stony Brook, but a flag on the field.
Yeah, it looks like this. I don't know what this penalty is going to be on.
The Stony Brook defense is livid, and a couple of players getting into the faces of the officials. Smith was one of them, and he may be called for a penalty.
10-yard penalty, previous spot.
Huh.
After the play. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 9, defense.
That was really serious because a holding penalty against Villanova would have given Stony Brook a chance and kept the clock at bay. But now, that personal foul against Stony Brook is going to give Villanova a first down. They're following it in chronological order. What a brutal blow for Stony Brook. That would have once again been another mental error on Villanova's offense for another season with this much time left. But this time, they luck out with Stony Brook making a mistake of their own.
Now $1:48 remaining. And 1st and 10 upcoming. Play clock is yet to start. Officials still need to pick up their flags. They're discussing something, maybe where they're going to spot the ball.
Right now the flag is at the 20-yard line. It says first and 10 at the 15-yard line too.
Wind is starting to pick up here at LaValle Stadium. It's been windy all game, but this is as strong as it's been. Still very chilly.
After the penalty, it'll be 1st and 10 for Villanova from the Stony Brook 12.
So they're spotting it at the 12-yard line. Still inside the red zone. And the clock rolls once again. Now under $1:40 to play. Villanova in their huddle. Still in their huddle with the play clock down under 10. They break it. Smith lines up out of the shotgun left hash mark. Play clock down to 5. It's Barley in the backfield. 3-2. Smith takes the snap, hands it off to Barley. Up the gut, has some space, and is brought down across the 10 with a gain of about 5.
And it looks like this is going to do it. A big mistake for Stony Brook with McKay Smith being called for that unnecessary roughness. It would be 4th down right now for Villanova, but looks like Villanova can start to kneel here, and that's what they're going to do. Because even with a timeout for Stony Brook, they'd be able to have the opportunity under 40 on 3rd down with no timeouts left. It looks like this is going to settle the end.
Play clock is down to 6. Smith now lines up under center for the first time today. Victory formation. The kneel. And with the play clock down to 0 and the game clock under 30, that's just going to about do it.
So even with a timeout, Stony Brook, one more kneel would have kept the clock rolling, and that is going to do it.
One more kneel will finish things off.
It's not going to be necessary.
Ten seconds remaining. They're not even going to bother snapping it again. 16-13 is the final score from LaValle Stadium as the teams will head to their respective locker rooms. Well, for the first time in the last few tries and the first time here at LaValle Stadium, the Villanova Wildcats pull out the victory against the Stony Brook Seawolves. Final score, 16-13.
This was the win that Villanova needed after they have lost the last 2 games to Stony Brook back-to-back when they had good looks entering halftime, and they nearly botched things up again, but unfortunately for them, able to recover that onside kick deep into Stony Brook territory and capitalizing on a penalty against the Seawolves that gave Villanova the opportunity they needed to stave off the upset.
Both teams had opportunities. Both teams failed to capitalize on opportunities. In the end, we had a chilly and sloppy ball game, and like so often, it was close toward the end of the game. Villanova ended up pulling out the victory. It was a tough offensive start for Stony Brook and a tough offensive go for Villanova in the second half. But at the end of the day, the Wildcats put up just enough on the scoreboard to pull out that victory against the Seawolves.
It looks like Tyson Lawton and Malik Love inactive in this game probably was the reason why Stony Brook didn't have what they needed to tread through offensively, because if Malik Love was in this game, things would have panned out differently. But without him, all you had was Khalil Newton and Delonte Helms to give you a push. And even that was enough for Tyquell Fields to have himself a good day. And his day did ended pretty questionable. He did have a touchdown himself, along with Jaden Cook actually getting one. But Fields finishes the day at 143 yards, completing 14 of his 25 pass attempts and throwing a pick. Got sacked twice.
Well, that'll just about do it from LaValle Stadium. Hey, join us tomorrow. We've got baseball and we've got playoff basketball, women's basketball from Island Federal Arena. Zach and I will be on that call, so make sure you join us. That game starts at 3 o'clock. For Matt Mankiewicz and Ken Furman and my partner Zach Wilson, I'm Jonah Karp saying so long and thanks for listening. Once again, the final score from LaValle Stadium, Stony Brook loses 16-13.